Not a one, Matt said, groaning inside. Not a single bloody one.
Don't worry, Matt. I was groaning too. Damn. My aim has been off lately. I can't click the I thing to get the thing to play.
Yeah, you can't click a button.
We need to set up the stream deck again because it was so much easier back then.
I know. Every time I go to stream, I'm like, oh no, never mind. I don't have that.
What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Claroos.
And this is the Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The Book Club.
Let's go.
A Memory of Light, episode 3. Today we are covering chapters 21 to 28 of the final book of The Wheel of Time. Don't worry, Claroos is doing something?
I'm just pulling it up and I'm liking the smash button.
Did you just hit the dislike button on our video?
No,
Wow. Guys, Claroos hit the dislike button.
I did it.
Samit Khan, thank you for joining the Nargs of the Nerd Table.
Welcome to the Nerd Table. Good morning, friends.
And Slickjack. I'll let you take this one.
Wow. Wowie, wow. Oh my god, guys. We literally just got here. Please calm down. Slickjack, thank you for that super duper chat. For the birthday girl, thank you. I have to go, but I'll get the video later. Yeah, you will. Yes, you will.
I want your birthday balloons like centered.
I got balloons, guys. Nerdy got me balloons.
I did get you balloons. They're very cute.
Honestly, they're great. They're great. I love them.
Boom! Look at that. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I have not given you a present for your birthday yet. And I won't for a few weeks.
Yet. It's fine.
Tomorrow is Claroos' birthday. Unfortunately, the thing that I bought you, that I'm very excited for, will be unboxed, will be unwrapped on this show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At some point. It has to be on, you'll understand why it's on this show when it gets here.
All right. If you
when you open it, you'll be like, this makes sense for the Nerdy Wordy Book Club.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
That doesn't help you at all, I promise.
Oh. It's not relevant to the Wheel of Time?
It might be.
Great. I love that. Blue, thank you for 10 gifted memberships.
Blue, thank you so much.
Good
Welcome
morning.
back.
How you doing?
Zetarog. All right, you guys do birthday stuff. I'll just be here until you guys are done.
No, you're good. Zetarog, thank you so much. Yes, we're gonna have a week off of posting. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be wonderful. And, we're gonna, get fucking wasted at Dragon Con.
Yeah. Y'all, this is a reminder. Tomorrow,
thank you,
on the channel, Train to Busan reaction is going to go live.
And that'll be the last reaction for
That'll be the last reaction for a full week until Monday. No, I think even like Tuesday the following week, because we are not going to continue with Vinland Saga for now.
Yeah.
We're going to watch it on our own time. I don't think it's not even...
It's not good for reacting.
And for some people it is, right? And I just don't think that I'm having fun reacting to it. And I think that it's...
I said it's not good for reacting.
But I don't think that that's true for everyone. I think that is our opinion.
Sure.
I don't think it is universally bad for reacting, because there are channels that love reacting to it. I think that reacting to it is taking away from my enjoyment of it.
Fair.
And so I would like to sit with it and a glass of whiskey and, like, ponder it instead of trying to, like, be hype about it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel very hype.
That.
And so I'm going to continue watching, because I think it is very well made, and I want to understand what it is. But I just don't want to watch it on camera.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to take the Monday slot yet, so there won't be anything that Monday. But,
yeah, we're going to figure it out. Arazu, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships.
Arazu, thank you so much. That's very sweet.
Slickjack, Zetarog, Blue, Arazu, thank you guys so much.
But yeah, there will be no uploads on the channel next week. We're taking Claroos' birthday week off to just kind of like be with each other and relax and drive for 15 hours. But other than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to relax because you're a passenger princess.
Okay, but so are you now because the car drives itself.
There's still a lot I gotta do. There's buttons I press.
I'm teasing.
I gotta fill the gas.
Touch the steering wheel.
Have you ever filled a gas tank in your life?
Never. You just stick it in the hole, right?
Sure.
Right. Love that.
It's more complicated than that, says every woman to every man.
Well, when it's your first time, you try not to overcomplicate things, okay?
Yeah, you try not to, and you usually don't do a very good job.
No one's first time is ever their best time, okay? That's how this works. Thank you, guys.
So, yeah, we'll be back the following week with Full Metal Alchemist, and Claroos will do a Cowboy Bebop, and then that Friday, 2 weeks from today, Book Club will return with chapters, everything up until the last battle.
Basically.
We have a commissioned reaction to chapter 30 that is coming.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll be doing everything else up until the last battle chapter. That feels like it should be closer than it currently is. But we'll talk about that when we get into the book today. Some other housekeeping. We have some thank yous to throw out to the community. Kenny Theology sent us
more books
to the P.O. Box.
Thank you so freaking much.
This is Dragonwing and Elven Star by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. I'm very excited to get into these. I do love a I do love a writing duo, writing fantasy together, and I believe both
could
women.
Us,
Tracy could be a man's name. I have a feeling Margaret's a woman though, so I'm very curious. I'm curious to get into these. They've got beautiful covers. This one is very cool and more like cool, but this is gorgeous. This like city on the hill.
We have like the duology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Deathgate cycle.
Wow.
Tracy is a dude. Thank you, Doug.
Cool.
I thought that might be. I thought they might be.
You never know.
And then, thank you. We're gonna say these are birthday presents for you. So here, take your birthday presents.
Thank you for the birthday present.
And then I don't think you even looked at these.
I peeked. I mean, I looked at the box. But yeah.
Turvok sent us this gorgeous white and blue Mistborn saga.
Guys, look, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, guys, I didn't know that Mistborn was this thick.
She's thick boy.
Oh, like, look at... Mistborn Book 1 is a fucking... It's the Bible, you guys.
In comparison.
Oh my god.
I mean, thickness-wise, they're like...
Although, like,
similar
it could
enough.
be bigger text.
It might be... Yeah, it's bigger text.
Yeah, it's much bigger text.
Definitely bigger text.
But I love the white and blue of this.
It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
It is very, very beautiful.
And
thank you, Turvok.
If you're on Book Talk, they're all the same. The spines are the same, which is such a gift. They fit. They're going to look great on a shelf together.
Yes.
So Turvok, thanks so much for Mistborn.
Yeah. Okay, now I got to put these back in.
I got it.
I was like, I'm going to take them out, and then I was like, fuck, maybe it was a bad idea. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. This is really cool. We're going to have so much reading. I'm very excited. Thank you
to anyone who sends us stuff to the P.O. Box. It's incredibly sweet.
Yes.
It's totally...
Yes.
I know someone is sending us the full DVD set of Full Metal Alchemist, the original 2003 show.
They're actually doing that?
Yeah, someone sent it. It's on the way.
Oh my god, whoever did that, thank you.
Y'all are too much.
I wanted to, that's the one I wanted to show you first, but that'll be really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, after Wheel of Time, we have talked about this. We are going to be covering Aragon books because Murtag's coming out.
Yeah.
And then who knows? Maybe we'll do some Brando Sando. Maybe we'll do Expanse. Where that one's
Brando Sando
up in the air. But these books are beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
What?
How you feeling?
I'm good.
Yeah. Is there any other housekeeping?
Use the code nerdynightly15 to get 15% off Misty Mountain Dice.
Yeah, this podcast is brought to you by MistyMountainGaming.com.
Yeah.
MistyMountainGaming.com is your best way to get all the accoutrement of the TTRPG space. Actually, you know what? I need to go edit the video really quick.
Great. I love that. Love that for us.
I just have to click this. This stream contains paid promotion like product placement, sponsorship, or endorsement. Yep, there we go. Fixed it.
That's fair. Because we love Misty Mountain Gaming.
For legal reasons, the stream is now sponsored.
Yes. If you like math rocks, go get yourself some pretty math rocks.
Yes. The Misty Mountain Gaming is the best place online for you to get the accoutrement of the tabletop RPG spaces. Mm-hmm. We've got D20s, we've got D12s, we've got D8s, we've got D4s, we've got D2s, they've got D1s, they've got D-6s. How does that work? Don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Misty Mountain Gaming figured it out because the big brains over there, that's false advertisement. They don't actually have -6s. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, you're lying.
I guess you could just roll a D6 and say that it's negatives.
That's true. If you wanted to. I don't know why you would want to get
This
negatives.
is my D-20.
Oh my god. Guys, if you're going to roll a natural 1 and critical fail, do it in style with Misty Mountain Gaming dice.
Yeah.
Nice button. That's great. I love that for me.
Yeah. What's up?
I don't know.
Someone just sent us money on PayPal, but didn't leave a note, so I didn't know why. They're just
They just sent money.
So, to you...
Whatever you want.
But it's also your legal name, so I don't know if you want me to throw your legal name up on the stream.
No, that's fair.
So the person who just PayPal'd us money, I'm assuming it's for Claroos' birthday?
Who those. Thank you. Thank you.
If you would like to PayPal us money, PayPal us at nerdynightly@gmail.com.
That's true. We get a good cut from PayPal. It's like
we do.
Pretty much all of it.
Yeah. We're going to be at Fan Expo a little bit today, but mostly tomorrow and Sunday. If you're going to be at Toronto Fan Expo, please come say hi. Claroos will be at the Stormcrow booth from 11 to 2 tomorrow.
Yep.
And 2 to 5 on Sunday.
You got it.
So if you want, if you see us, come say hi. Please don't feel shy. We love to interact with people. And next week, we are going to be at Dragon Con all day, day. We're not going to say where our hotel room is, but we're in one of the main 3 hotels, so you'll see us plenty. Please just say hi, pull us over. We love it.
We're cool, I promise.
Because
super chill.
We've had some people reach out in the past and be like, I saw you at the con, but I didn't know if it was okay to. No matter what, just come say hi.
No, yeah, say hi.
We'll both probably be in large groups of people. Just come and pull us aside. We would love to say hi to you.
Yeah.
And I never want anyone to feel like we are unapproachable because we only have the job that we have in this position and the luck to be in the position that we are because of you and the people who watch this show and our other stuff and who are so unbelievably kind to us.
Yeah.
And we never want you to feel like we're not there to say hi, take a photo, whatever you might want. And so if we see you at Dragon Con, please say hi.
Yeah.
Blue says if it was Ricardo, I think it was for a reaction. It was Ricardo, so it wasn't for your birthday. Sorry, it's for a reaction. What are we reacting to?
I don't know. We'll figure that out.
People just send us money.
That might have been, you know what? I'll figure it out later. It doesn't matter. Dedsy, welcome back to the Nerd Table. 16 whole months. Hi.
16 whole months. Hi.
Hello. Hi. How are you doing?
Cat says, except in the restrooms. Yes, please wait until we are outside of the bathroom. You can wait outside the bathroom for me. That is okay. But please don't approach me in the bathroom.
You go in the bathroom. And I followed you in here. No.
And please don't follow us back to our hotel room. That's weird. Like, that crosses the line. You know what I mean? Just say hi in the middle of the Marriott, and we'll all be chill.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
Last week, we had a rather long, I think somewhat contentious show.
What?
A little bit. And I would like to acknowledge some of the criticisms of that show and be like, yeah, you're right.
All right.
It was a lot. And it was a little long. And I'm sorry.
They're the ones asking for a 5-hour book club. It was a lot.
I think what happened last week was there was an element of, I think there's a lot of stress around the ending of a series. Both for the writers when you're writing the end of a series, but also I think for us with the ending of this show. And there's an element of last week, I think, that came partially from me, I think, that was in response to... I'm trying... I realized this after last week's show, and that's why I wanted to bring it up here. I wanted to talk about this before we got into this, because I was trying to be more mindful of it this week. But this show has had an outsized impact on my life in the last year and a half, right? Being able to do this every Friday and these books. And... yeah. There is an anxiety around coming to the end of it.
Yeah.
In me.
Yeah.
That I just have to acknowledge. And I think that there's...
yes.
I am trying to give this book a fair shot and not let my desire for the end of it to satisfy this 1.5 year long journey we've had with this community impact the way that I'm reading the moment to moment of the book. Right. And I think that like there's a weird element of like, I think the book is better than I gave it credit for last week. There's still stuff around the slavery and stuff that I don't like.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things this week that we're going to talk about that I also was like not a huge fan of. But I think that I definitely think there's an element of the way I approached last week that was tied up in my desire for the end of this, whatever we're doing on the show, to be as outsized an impact on me as this show has been. And I don't know that is necessarily fair to the book.
No, I think that's, like, it's really emotional. Like, we've been on this journey for 1.5 years. And there's a lot that we've said. And we want everything to just mean so much. Like, we don't want to, like, waste any little moment. Because we only have so many left, in like a weird way. And so I think that the anxiety around that makes talking about this book just flavored I either for good or bad, you know, and I think that as long as we are acknowledging that, then that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, hopefully, well, I don't know, I can't guarantee we'll never have a 4-hour book club again because we're not great at time management.
It wasn't the 4 hours of it though. It was really like, because, you know, I went back and watched a significant chunk of last week's show. And especially in the first hour, I think that like I was responding to what I wanted the book to be, because I wanted the end to satisfy so many different things. And I think that that's what it was, right? I think that there wasn't, I stand by what I said last week. It's not to say that I think that I was wrong, because it's my subjective opinion about something, right? But it's more about that I think that I was having there was a slightly emotional tinge to the reaction to the book last week.
Yeah.
That I wasn't aware of in the moment.
Yeah.
And that going back and watching it, I was like, you know what? Like there was definitely some criticism in the comments under that video that I 100% agreed with. I also think, like, you know, as long as we've been doing this, I still feel like I'm not very good at it. And I'm still learning, right? And I think that like last week's book club was a really interesting learning lesson in terms of I've kind of there's been a chunk of the book club where I've kind of been enjoying it and on a roll, and not maybe going back and analyzing it the way that I would in early days book clubs to be like, how can I improve?
Right.
And I think that I was kind of like, you know what? We've been doing this for over a year. I don't need to keep thinking about that. And I think that I do. I think that like I need to be mindful about continuing the process of trying to make this show better and making all of our content better. So that I'm proud of the shows that we do, because I think that there are definitely conversations and portions of the conversation last week where I wasn't very proud of how I turned it into content. I just want to acknowledge that, because I think that there were some very valid criticisms under that video. Yeah, I also think that like the way the Sanshin have been brought into the final book, and the way they're being used in the final book, is making me enjoy the stuff that I do love about the final book less.
Yeah.
And that is also part of it, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, we knew that as soon as they showed up. Ricardo, thank you so much for that super chat.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Cheers, we really appreciate that. I think we're reacting to chapter 39. So
yes.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, that'll be the week after the next book club, because that'll be after that's in the same week as the last battle. Or no, it's
I think I think we're doing last battle and the chapter afterwards. So I think it's the one after that. Remember, there is no book club next week.
Yeah.
We said we're taking a week off posting. We're also taking a week off book club. We're going to be at DragonCon. We might be tipsy. We're not doing book club.
But for now, let's hop into the chapters. Claroos, how did you feel about the reading this week?
Some good shit. The bopping around is still a lot, but I feel like I'm getting used to it. And like we're getting into like the juicy bits, like, you know, people are losing, and that's kind of fun. Like, obviously it's dark and like it sucks, but like, you know, the Forsaken are actually a little bit scary right now. They're doing things that are they're fucking around a little bit. And our great generals are finding out, that's for sure. Yeah,
it's awesome that the Forsaken decided to be competent right at the time that Ren goes to Shale Goal. They were like, oh my god, you know, we've been fucking around for so long. Hey, maybe now we should actually be good at our job.
It's better late than never, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. I really enjoyed a lot of this week's writing. And honestly, in comparison to last week's combat stuff, because I really felt like Brandon Sanderson, and obviously like the notes that he had and the writings he had from Robert Jordan, I thought they did a much better job in these kind of combat sequences, bringing some characters together and allowing it to be there was a little bit more conversation around the combat this week, and I felt like we had the moments of like character interaction and bringing the large scale combat down to like the personal level really well this week, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. And part of that is the clunkiness of having to move a bunch of things into motion last week. Yeah. And also I think last week we just had a lot more reading. And so in the show, trying to get through everything felt a little bit more rushing. This week, I think we trimmed down how much we read this week in comparison. And so I think that as a split, even just going into talking about this, I don't feel like we have to get through a billion things. We have to get through a million. And like it's just a little bit easier for my brain.
Only a million.
And so, yeah, I'm still really unclear about the Dark One, and that like I'm really hoping that in the second half of this book, we get into what that is and what it means.
It's just a guy.
But it can't be.
No, I don't know. I know.
I would really love I would really love to understand why of the dark side of this, because they feel very intangible to me right now.
Yeah.
And so when the books aren't really focusing on them and it's just focusing on our good guys hanging out, really, I like that stuff quite a bit. And there was a lot of that this week.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I had a good time with the reading.
I think the weirdest part, right, is that like it seems that the wheel and the pattern is all about balance. And so the dark one in a way seems necessary to maintain that balance. And so I don't actually know if they can like kill the dark one. Unless the dark, I like it, yeah. I'm like, is the dark one a person? Is it a manifestation? Is it like the dreams of man? Is it like there's so many like nebulous things that it could be, and I don't know, just because of how the wheel works and has been described.
Yeah, and I really do think that it is to the detriment of the series as a whole, just because I think that right now I found Rand going into Shia Ghul to be rather impersonal, and I find it very interesting that I don't feel like Rand has a very personal connection to the Dark One. His personal connection is more to his own mortality, which is interesting in its own way. And like that thematically is very interesting, that it's really about him and himself in there. But I don't.
But Lews Therin knows the Dark One, like he's faced the Dark One before, so I would say that there definitely is a connection there.
But there's no like. It is a force, right? Right now, the Dark One is just a force, and it's an impossible force, right? It's not the number of Trollocs that exist doesn't seem realistic in any way to me. I don't buy it. Like, I don't buy into the idea of how many Trollocs there are, and really? I find because like, where did they come from? You know what I mean?
Blight.
Sure, but like the scale of that was never, I don't feel like the scale of the Blight was ever set up that the Blight held more than like 10 Trollocs for every man on Earth, right? And so we're in these combat sequences where the armies of the Dark One are so vast and so faceless, like they're just mobs.
I will agree with that, yeah.
And so the Dark One is just another faceless mob at the top of a mob of mobs.
Yeah.
And the stuff that is really interesting, which is Lanfear, Moradin, Tame, Demandred to a lesser extent. I'm really hoping that we get into Demandred.
We don't know him super well.
But also Demandred isn't going to fight Rand now. So like Demandred is just going to fight someone that Demandred doesn't give a shit about, which I find...
We'll see.
I would love it. I would love if Demandred and Rand interacted once in this series, but they have never.
Yeah.
And Demandred's whole thing is, I hate Rand, I want to fight Rand. And then Rand is like, I don't know who you are, dude. Deuces. And so Demandred is just kind of like fighting the White Tower, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but but also like Tame is, I guess, going to go to Shia Ghul. It doesn't matter. My point is just that right now, when Rand walked into the Dark One's room and Moradin was like, that's the Dark One, and they're like, it's a black void of nothing. I was like, that's hard for me.
That's not the Dark One.
Yeah, it is. He's become a void of nothingness. He is what is behind me. There's nothing behind you. He's become the end of the world. That's what Perrin describes him as, right? It is. I didn't
think that was the Dark One. I thought the Dark One existed in a void.
Well, but Perrin says, like, when he looks into the darkness, it's not that it is dark. It is that there is simply nothing.
Yeah.
And that is what Moradin was implying the Dark One has become. He is, like, reaching through the bore and is this dark nothingness. And Moradin says, I've been promised an end. I've been promised, like, the end of this. The nothingness of death. Right? And like, if Rand just kind of is fighting nothingness, that is a really nebulous kind of tough finale that they could totally nail, right?
Yeah.
But they would have to get me very invested in them nailing that before they can nail it. Because right now I'm not really invested in Rand fighting that. I'm more interested in Rand fighting Moradin. Because Moradin's a thing that he can fight, as opposed to fighting the concept of nothingness, which feels very heady and maybe difficult to penetrate. And I'm curious to see how they get into that.
Yeah. Glenn Peterson, thank you for that super chat. Forsaken competence, part of the perception of being stupid is that RJ didn't really foreshadow the Forsaken plans that much. So when we got here, it's all kind of a surprise secrets. Well, I think it's actually less so that, and that like everything that we see the Forsaken try to do, they fail at. Like, this
and
is
that the Dark One
first
keeps
time...
bopping into the Forsaken and being like, you failed again. You failed again. Like, we've watched 14 books of the Dark One sending Shadar Logoth to people to be like, why are you such a fuck up? Stop fucking up. I'm gonna punish you for being a dumb fuck up. Shadar Haran.
Yeah, it's all good.
But like,
S Snape, there's too many fucking S's in this series. It's hilarious.
Also, straight up just getting rid of Shadar Haran like that. What a fucking, like, I was furious.
I was a little bit surprised. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, he's just, oh, okay, sure then.
Mm-hmm. Like, I hated that Shadar Haran is just dead on the ground.
Yeah.
You created one of the, like, few legitimately interesting villains in this series, and he's dead because the Dark One doesn't need him anymore.
I was so, unless he's not dead yet, but,
right.
like, that implication of the thing just, like, lying there, I was like, wait a second.
I was really hoping that Shadar Haran would fight, like, Lan or Matt, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, give them something to do.
Yeah.
No, he's just dead.
Yeah,
Like, what was the point? Like, it just is like, what was the point?
Or if he was, like, you know, the Dark One's mouthpiece or whatever it was, and that was the initial fight leading into the Dark One. Like, I was shocked.
I did love last week. You were like, why would... I was like, I can't wait for Morden and Rand to sword fight again, because it's, like, the natural progression of their characters from book 2 to now. And you're like, why would they sword fight? They would never do that. Cut to Aaron's like, there's 2 men in there fighting with swords. It's crazy.
I know. You know what? This is why... Look, I've been wrong about fucking everything, okay? I was wrong about the fucking Veiled Aiel people. I was wrong about the sword fights. Guys, I'm losing my touch. I honestly think my idea is more interesting, but...
with the Red Aiel?
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna matter more.
They're just male channelers.
But they're not. But they're kind of chumps. Like they introduce another faceless mob.
Cocky, yeah.
But they're terrible.
Well,
Gowl kills 30 of them, and he can't channel.
Well, and the wolves.
No, Gowl, like, personally kills, like, 30 of them.
No, he says he killed 2. He literally says in the book, I killed 2, but you captured 2.
Okay. It's still like...
The wolves helped.
There's a shit ton of them, and I feel like they're just just getting murked. And, like, I think that it would be more interesting if they didn't. You know, if they weren't just an immediately... Because at the end of last book set them up to be so cool. Mm-hmm. And now I'm kind of like, oh, they're fine.
I know.
They're
that's
not really
why
anything.
I liked my idea of what they were, but that's fine. I'm not the author.
Well, yeah, but... And they just... We're really far into this book, and they haven't really done anything yet. Except get killed by wolves and go.
I think because Tame is, like, people are less useful when they're turned. Maybe, like, they just, like, kind of suck. They're, like, hyper violent, but they don't have the, like, brain power to really, like, do anything clever.
I think the danger of that is the way they were introduced in the very last thing of the penultimate book is like, look at these scary bad guys, because we've made the Trollocs and the Murdral essentially non-threats.
But they just made them the same as the Trollocs, kind of.
Right, but then that's the risk.
Trollocs who can, like, channel a little bit, like, they're definitely still a threat to, like, a normal guy. Obviously, Gowl is like... a hero. Like, you know, he's survived this long. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, I thought they would be a little bit scarier. Mm-hmm. And so far, not so much. But hey, maybe later on.
Yeah, and I think that I want to stop complaining, because I think people are going to think that I was very negative this week, and I'm trying not to be. But there's one last thing I do want to say. Uh-huh. The Lan moment, where Lan is like, we've killed thousands and lost hundreds to the Trollocs. I'm like, when did every human being get so good at killing Trollocs?
Well, they're not. They're just working together.
Yeah, I know that, but the book 1 sets up a Trolloc as being a, like, 9-foot tall monstrosity.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like, they're like dudes. Regular people can kill, like, at least 10 Trollocs a day. Because, right, like, in order for those numbers to be as outsized as they are, there are regular dudes who are just killing, like, 10 or 12 Trollocs a day.
Yeah, but I think that's a testament more to the generals and the plans, right? Like, if it was, like, 1v1 dude versus Trolloc, like, you know, the dude would probably lose, some average fucker. But, like, you've got the people set up in the best defensive position as possible. They are fighting for the sake of the world, right? Mm-hmm. They're fighting not only for themselves and their families, but for, like, the fate of everything as they know it. And I think that, obviously the Trollocs are not, like, super scary and imposing, but we've gotten to the point in the series that I don't expect them to be. Like, they are the faceless mob of the orcs, the Trollocs, the, like, bad guys that are just kind of nameless, faceless, like, this is the fist that we're going to use to, like, punch at the good guys, and it doesn't really matter the intricacies of the fighting it, although we do get a lot of the battle plans and intricacies, which is why I feel like it just builds up our generals and our leaders in a better sense, because it's not, like, they're not just letting their fighters, like, 1v1 Trollocs, they're being, like, strategic about fighting them.
Yeah, the tough thing about being strategic, and I think that this might just be this might just be my idea of how I would handle this kind of a situation, is that they're really just meeting them in open combat constantly, which is the worst way to fight a horde like the Trollocs.
They can't just, like, build some hills and shoot them down.
No.
Like, they don't get to necessarily choose the battlefield. They get to choose the places on the battlefield, but like they can't really manipulate terrain like that, which is why they use the cavalry in a way, or their pikes in a way, or the archers in a way, which is part of, like, this section.
It's why I wish the Trollocs were being described in more realistic numbers. Because it really, like, based on the way they describe how many there are, it feels like they should have just been overrun really quickly.
Well, that's why the Blight has been quiet for so long, right? Because the Dark One was, like, amassing.
Then where were the Trollocs if the Blight was quiet? Like, how big is the Blight, though?
They were in the Blight. They just weren't attacking.
I know, but how big is it? If you have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Trollocs.
I mean, it's from what I understand, it's like thousands of square miles. And it keeps getting bigger, right? I don't actually know, like, I don't know if anyone actually knows where the end of the Blight is. Right?
Joe G, thank you for that. Rank this book on a scale of Avengers Endgame to Game of Thrones Season 8. Mostly joking, in case it isn't obvious.
Look.
These are minor complaints. I want to be really clear. I didn't want to start negative. I'm sorry. We just started talking about some stuff in the books. I really did like the reading this
I'm going to get it all out of the way at the beginning.
Yeah, but there is an element where I wish that the armies of the Trollocs were described in a way that I felt like they existed before this. But it really just feels like it's the final book. There's just an infinite amount of Trollocs.
Yeah, I feel like that was
set up
pretty well.
I don't think it was, though.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, it's super weird that the Blight is quiet. All these Borderlanders are ready to fight, and the Trollocs aren't raiding as much. Oh, like, this is kind of sus.
But numbers-wise, it's like, Rand killed 100,000 Trollocs a few books ago. Like, the number of Trollocs in this series is in the multiple millions. It just feels like there's just... I just feel like if the numbers were written in a way that I could wrap my head around how they hid that, you know what I mean? Like, the amount of food that it would have taken to grow millions of Trollocs for years is kind of insane.
Well, but they talk about that. That's, like, a thing that they use against the Trollocs.
No, now that they're out of the Blight.
Yeah.
But, like, in the Blight... I guess I just...
Like, all the food... They literally talk about how all the food in the Blight is probably... Like, the Dark One has been planning this for so long that these Trollocs must be ravenous, which is why they are, like, distracted eating, and that's why Lan's forces are able to fucking, like, fuck them up. Because the Dark One has kind of overextended himself in the Blight, and his troops need to eat, and so he's, like, sending them out because there's not a lot of food back home in the Blight.
Well, no, they were sent out because they were starting the war. They weren't set out to find food.
Well, yeah, but, like, they
were comfortably eating in the Blight somehow for decades.
I don't know about comfortably, but
they would have to be, in order to grow a population to that size, you have to have nourishment. Yeah. That is, like, those two things go hand in hand. You cannot grow a population without a food source.
Which is why the Trollocs are always going out to fight, right? Because they attack the Borderlander villages
because the Blight has been quiet. That's my point, though, is that they haven't been lately.
So it was, like, busy, right? It was, like, kind of, like, they were fighting a lot and the Blight was growing. And then only recently it was much quieter than usual, which is like, ooh, that's super sus. But the Trollocs eat one another and they eat people. Like, it's not, I don't think, difficult to find food for them, right? It's not like they need... It
is incredibly difficult to find food for millions of people. It just is hard. Like, that just is hard. I know, but the Trollocs haven't taken a bite out of Randland in decades.
And it works for me.
The last time the Trollocs crossed was like the Trolloc Wars 1,000 years ago. I think that like it's fine, right? It is fine. It's not this wasn't supposed to be a big complaint. I'm sorry. Like I don't know why.
No, it's fine. It's interesting like what doesn't work for you and what works for me because I'm like, oh yeah, that I get it.
The numbers just aren't fun to me. I have this problem with anything where the bad guys have an unlimited horde. Is that it's not fun for me to be like, okay, so like the victory is kind of, I prefer when two armies meet and one army it has an advantage over the other, and so there's an underdog, but there is a reasonable like expectation that either side could win.
I guess maybe I've only really read series where by the end of it like unimaginable numbers. Like that's just like a fantasy trope that I'm so used to.
This is why I've always preferred Two Towers to Return of the King. Because I think that Helm's Deep has a reasonable army fight Helm's Deep. And when Gandalf comes in at the end, he's coming in at the end of days of fighting, and he's cleaning up a large force that he has an advantage on.
Yeah.
In Minas Tirith, they literally, like, the book is different. The book, I think, handles it better because Aragorn actually collects people and it's not just the ghosts save the day.
Yeah.
But when you show up to Minas Tirith and Return of the King, the movie, you need an army of ghosts to save the day because it is there's just this impossible thing happening.
Right. There are endless numbers.
And I think that, like, this book has an element of that for me, where the Dark One and his forces have been so incompetent for so long, and then at the end they're like, we just have an unlimited horde. It doesn't matter, they just all fucking die.
That does kind of remind me of the Lord of the Rings, though, right? Like, you know, Mordor closes up. They like build as many orcs as they can, and then they're all like unleashed at some point, and like it's this similar kind of concept, I think, as the
right. But I'm saying that isn't my favorite part of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And
so like
I'm just saying it's like a fantasy trope that I just like.
Sure.
I guess my brain kind of glazes over because I'm like, yeah, that just happened.
It's a trope that I don't love.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a trope that I think is a little bit it's a trope that never really works for me. I think the Sharin fighting in this is so interesting because I understand what they are as a force. And I can wrap my head around how they versus the Sanshin are this sort of like, the generals have to be really good at it because both sides are intelligent, capable, and trained, right? Whereas the Trollocs they just all kind of die as the humans just kind of outwit them because they're dumb and they're just large meat sacks to be stabbed over and over and over again. And that to me, the Trollocs have just, ever since they were so scary in the beginning, and the way they've just been sort of turned into literally mush to me is just not my favorite thing about the books.
Yeah.
If just being honest, right? In the same way that like the way that Minas Tirith goes isn't my favorite things about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, yeah, I just find the like untold masses just kind of, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because there's no real way to gauge the scale and relate to it. Glenn Peterson, thank you for that super chat. Logistically, though, an army that eats the other army doesn't need as much of a supply chain. Yeah, and also someone did make a good point that, like, Demandred has control of Shara, and so Shara might send food to the Blight. Like, that is a possibility.
He's only had that control very recently, though.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. So, yeah. Yeah, no, it is an interesting trope that I just, like, have kind of accepted as part of fantasy, but it's not, like, the most creative.
Yeah, no, and look, like, this was not supposed to be this conversation at the top of the show. I really didn't want to do this. I'm sorry. Let's just get into the chapters, and let's do this. All right, chapter 21, A Memory of Light.
It's like, that's the chapter name? No.
No, that's the book. Yeah. Not a mistake to ignore. Fuck.
What?
I didn't want to talk about things. I wanted to be more positive this week. I really wanted to be more positive this week. And then you pushed me into that conversation, and now we have to talk about fucking Swan. Swan should have died. And this scene is bullshit. This scene sucks. I'm sorry. But you, Kiri, being like, oh, jump! I know a weave! I hated. I hated. I was kidding. That was a joke, by the way.
Very lucky.
That was a joke. No, this was bullshit. And I fucking hated it. I really did. You, Kiri, being like, I know something!
Just go for it!
We've never brought it up before, but all of a sudden I've got a solution to this problem.
And Gareth Bryan was like, yeah, it looked like you weren't going to jump, Swan. And she was like, oh, well, yeah, I was going to jump, dummy. Oh, my God.
Yeah, this was just like the most... I
will say this.
I will say this. Mm-hmm. If the book hadn't started with the Talmains thing, I wouldn't think as much of this.
Fair.
If the book had not started with Talmains surviving that bullshit, I would have been fine with this, honestly.
Yeah.
It is that the only two main characters that have been in danger in the book so far, both Deus Ex Machina'd out of it, that is what is disappointing.
Yeah.
Right? It is that, like, okay, we've done this twice now.
Yeah.
How many Deus Ex Machina things are there in one novel?
Yeah.
Because that's what this is, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, oh, I've got a solution to this magically after we were told that they're dead. You can't do that twice in the same book and, like, not lower the stakes again.
Yeah,
right?
No, I agree. One, it's fine. Both, I was like, oh, no. Well, and when I opened up the book last week and I was like, Swan, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Morican D. Sorry, I probably said that wrong. Thank you for the super chat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
There's a deleted scene with Demandrid you should read afterwards. That's fun.
A deleted scene?
From a book? I mean, yeah, you edit stuff out.
Okay, outside of book club for a second, really quickly, outside of book club for a second, stop doing the different chapters and different editions bullshit. I saw this thing where this woman, this author, is putting out a book, and if you get it at Target, it has 2 extra chapters with these characters, and if you get it at Walmart, fuck that shit. Write your book, publish it once. I don't want to buy 7 versions of your book in order to have the entire book.
Ooh, I don't like that at all.
Garbage. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's bad for publishing. Audiences are going to hate it. Book publishers.
Like them putting out different Spider-Verse movies in the theaters.
I hate that a little bit less because the changes were so small.
Yes.
This is literally... It would be like if Spider-Verse had different scenes.
Yeah. That would be crazy. Why do that?
Don't do that.
Chris Porter, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Chris Porter, thanks so much.
Thank you, Chris Porter. So Featherfall to save the day, literally. And we literally said that last week, and then
I said it as a joke.
I know.
Because it was a dumb thing.
I know.
I hate that.
Yeah, anyway, Swan and Yukiri and Gareth Bryan are alive. They're at a camp nearby. It's not going well. We get to Lorel's point of view. Fuck, I don't remember this person. There's too many fucking names. She's at the Black Tower. They go in, and Pavara's like, hey guys, how's it going? And they're all like, we're here to bond the men. And she's like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna let you know that you can't, like, compel them when they can channel, so we're on the same page. And also, I would maybe consider asking the men and being, like, a human being about it. And Lorel is like, absolutely not. I'm not a human being. I'm an Aes Sedai. And so they go see Andral, who's like, these are the 47 men that you may bond. And she was like, well, no, we said we could have pick of the people. And he's like, yeah, you can have pick of people that you can find. Good fucking luck with that. Here's your people. And I was like, I love Andral so goddamn much.
Yeah.
He's so good.
He's great.
Yeah, he's great.
I will say, this was a scene where I wish that we had resolved the taint being cleansed a little bit more globally.
What do you mean?
I just think that it really is one of the biggest things that happens in these books, and nobody believes that it happened.
You say nobody, and that's not true.
I just mean that we just keep having this scene where there's another character who doesn't, it's like, I don't believe, and then the next woman is like, oh no, there's no way they did that, and like, I just would like for like one of them, just to meet one woman who hears that the taint was cleansed by the Dragon Reborn, and is like, oh, dope. I'm happy to hear that. Like, I just would like for one character to have a different perspective on it.
I think that's tough because most of our characters that we meet, like the Aes Sedai, are hypercritical. And when the duration of their life, which is hundreds of years potentially, and the duration of the history that they've read is that the taint exists on the male half of the source. Hearing that it's just like gone, like that would take some convincing, because it's a very convenient lie, right? If you were like, yeah, I cleansed the taint. there's uses to lying about that being a fact.
I don't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I just would like for the Aes Sedai to be less monolithic. I think that one of the things that would help me remember their names would be if they had different personalities.
Oh, yeah, and they're all just, like, hyper-critical woman who doesn't need no man, you know?
And so I really think that, like, one of the reasons why the Aes Sedai are kind of mush, like the Trollocs in my head.
They have names. I don't remember who's who.
But almost the vast majority of them have a monolithic way of interacting with any new information. Mm-hmm. And I just think it would have been interesting to have somebody. I guess like someone in the chat brings up Trintron brings up that Moraine did it, which is totally fair. I don't know. I think it would have. I think that it would be that they're a little bit monolithic at times, and I think that like that's not my favorite thing about the Aes Sedai in the series. You know,
I think Moraine and honestly Pavara are the two that like seem to have the most personality to me. Swan also kind of because of New Spring, but not necessarily because of the main series, if I'm being completely honest. Like, Swan is, like, the epitome of the monolithic, like, she was the Amyrlin, right? Like,
yeah, and her relationship with Gareth Bryan is really interesting. Mm-hmm. I think that the Aes Sedai who have been allowed to have relationships with other characters are so interesting.
Yeah.
It's just that that's such a minority among the Aes Sedai, because so many of them have either no relationships or only contentious, pissy relationships with, you know what I mean? Like, just sort of, like, bratty relationships with other people. Mm-hmm. And so Laurel was just... Laurel sucked.
yeah.
Like, Laurel was really just like...
She's the worst. Glenn Peterson, thank you for another super chat. Let's go. Andral is the Black Tower's cool channeler, like Varen for the White Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And Varen, I agree, has definitely more of a personality.
Yeah,
it is just interesting. There's so many fucking Aes Sedai.
Yeah, but even Varen, like, ultimately, like, I think there's only, like, maybe 15 scenes in the whole series with her. Mm-hmm. When she's in there, she's great. But, you know, she's one of the few people who died.
Yeah. So Logain has been, like, going over Tame's shit in his room. Do you think he's gonna find anything useful?
No.
Really? I think that has something to do with his glory.
Guys... The Forsaken are finally being competent. Let's not make them incompetent again.
What do you mean incompetent?
Why would you leave clues behind?
Well, because he didn't think he was going to get fucking ousted.
Fair.
That's his, like, base of operations.
I really want the bad guys to, like, not suck for one book in the series. And they kind of are rocking it right now.
If you leave notes behind in your base of operation, look, they might be, like, not encrypted, is...
like ciphered?
Sure, there might be, like, they might not be straightforward, but I definitely think there's gotta be some shit left behind, because he wasn't expecting to get fucking outed.
I would be fine if Logain, like, learned something that helps him.
Yeah,
But if it's like, Master Tame wrote down the locations of the seals of the... Like, I'll be like,
no.
Come on, guys.
No. Maybe that's where the seals are. Maybe he left them in his room.
There's no fucking way.
I think there's... I think that's possible.
That to me would be... That would just be gross incompetence.
Well, yeah, you would keep that something like that important on your person. I'm just saying I could see it happening.
I'm really enjoying the dark side actually feeling like they are good at their job in this book. Mm-hmm. It's this week's reading, mostly. I am enjoying that, and I would like for that to continue and not just be turned into like, oh yeah, Mazrim Tame drew a treasure map to the Dark One's prison.
Could you imagine if we do a fucking side quest treasure hunt with Logain?
I could, just because there's like 12 chapters left, or right there at the end of the reading, there's 9 chapters before the last battle. Yeah. Like, we're not in the last battle, which is insane to me.
It feels like this is the last battle.
It feels like we've been in the last battle for 10 chapters now.
Yeah.
Rand is literally in Shai'l Ghul, but we're not at the last battle yet somehow.
Yeah. Yep. Anyways, Pavard is, like, a little bit worried about people who kind of, like, were almost turned but not quite turned, that it, like, kind of fucked him up a little bit, which, like, fair. That seems like a valid concern.
Oh, I think 100% valid concern, yeah.
Yeah, they have this, like, really cool emotional moment where they're like, you know, the Dragon Reborn didn't save us, we saved ourselves, and we're loyal to Logain, and he's gonna be the one to lead us into the last battle, and we're gonna make a name for the Black Tower.
Yeah, and there is an element of this that I really like, right? Which is the by not saving them himself, Rand has given them the way to survive after he's gone.
Yes, that was a really interesting take.
It is an interesting take because it worked out.
Because yes, of course. And that's it. History remembers based on the outcome of things, right? If you take a huge risk, for example, in a war and it fails, you are known as a failure. And if that risk comes out as a success, you're known as like fucking S tier. This is one of those situations as well where Rand's decisions, how they would be viewed, are totally
they're looking back on it with some rose-tinted glasses.
On the outcome, 100%.
Because Rand's plan was, it wasn't like Rand was like, if I go save them, then they'll never live without me. His thing was, I don't know what to do there, so I'm gonna wait. And then shit went really bad.
Yeah, it is one of those things where I think that it's kind of what they need to tell themselves. In a sense, to get through. I can't be mad at Rand. There's no point in it. The Dragon Reborn has shit to do, so I'm gonna, like, justify it in a way that I think is, like, justifiable. But, you know, you kind of have to give yourself a moment to get there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I love Andral. I'm disappointed that this is the last we could talk about him this week, because he's, like, one of the best characters in these final books. And then he's gone for the next few chapters, so I wonder where he pops back up.
Probably at the last battle.
Probably.
Just, like, he's gonna be the one, like, I feel like Logain watched Rand make the Death Gates, and Logain is gonna be like, wow, you're good with gateways, I'm gonna teach you this trick.
Oh, yeah.
And he's gonna have just tiny little gateways just, like, scissoring across the battlefield.
You heard it here first, y'all. Andrel's gonna be scissoring on the battlefield.
Yeah, with his gateways.
Chapter 22, the Wild. The Wield? The Vild?
The Wild.
The Wild. Egwene.
The Wieldy.
Egwene has been sheltering under a tent for, like, a day.
Oh, I thought it was, like, a wagon. I don't even know. There's
the Sharans are real bad at finding people.
It's a big camp to comb through.
There are a large number of people chilling in this camp, moving around, doing shit, and the Sharans are finding none of them.
No, they're finding lots of people. They, like, watch it happen.
Yeah, no, they are. It's more just that when Leowen shows up, I was like,
where were you? And Leanne was hiding. How are you guys
getting around?
Leanne was hiding too until Demandred showed up. Yeah.
So Leanne gets brought to Bow the Wild. Which is what Demandred calls himself now. Demandred has too many names. And he's like, Leanne, I'm sending you to go tell Lews Therin to come here and fight me.
Like, is Leanne gonna go into fucking Shio Ghul? You know what I mean? I'm like, what does Demandred think? I guess Demandred doesn't know that Rand is there, right? Because Rand had the dagger on him.
That hasn't started yet. Rand hasn't gone into Shao Ghul
But, like, Rand is there.
No, Rand is, like, at the Fields of Merilor right now, waiting to go.
What? No.
Yeah.
He's, like, outside the boar.
No, he's not. No, he's not. That's, like, days later. Because Egwene... So, when Rand takes the portal to the boar, the sky goes black. And so that happens when Egwene is getting ready to fight later. Rand is not at the boar right now. Rand is just, like, at the Fields of Merilor right now.
Yeah.
So the timeline of this gets really confusing because of how close you are to the boar changes how you interact with time.
Yeah.
But we do know that the boar, the sky goes black almost immediately after Rand goes through the portal to the boar. So Rand is currently just somewhere.
Okay, yeah.
But he's not at the board right now.
Okay, I thought that was hilarious that, like, Leanne is just gonna fucking, like, stroll on into Shio Ghul, but no, that's fair. Glenn Peterson, thank you for the super chat. All the Turn channelers, I'm grateful for the fact that we now know what they meant by Dreadlords from the earlier books.
Dreadlords aren't Turn channelers.
Yeah, no.
No, Phaelane was a Dark Friend.
Not turned, and... Yeah, you don't have to be turned to be a Dreadlord. In fact,
I actually think you can't be. I think the Dreadlords are the ones who have to go naturally.
Willingly. Yeah.
So that because they're more in charge. They're like leaders.
Yeah. Because if you don't have that, like, human instinct and creativity, then you're not very useful as a Dreadlord. You're just kind of power.
Phaelane wouldn't have been turned.
No. Faolain was already a dark friend, so.
Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Faolain was not turned. She was there of her own accord because she sucks. Yeah, the people who are turned are just firepower. They're not they don't become the leaders because that wouldn't make sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless we're wrong.
No, there's no way. You mean Alviarin? I mean, Alviarin sucked as well, but I don't know if Alviarin was a Dreadlord. Oh, Phalion. Wait, whichever one didn't swear to Egwene. Phalion and Faolain are two similar names, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But no, the one that
the one that died. The one that swore to Egwene died.
She did?
She died in the White Tower when
Did she die? I don't even remember.
Masana attacked.
I'm talking about the one that Avienda kills later in this section.
Yeah, Phalion.
Sorry, Faolain and Phalion are
Faolain died in the White Tower when Masana attacked.
Yeah,
and Phalion died here.
So Phalion...
Oh, no, wait, that was Nicola.
Yeah, okay, I was like...
Wait, where's Faolain?
Faolain, I don't know where she is.
There's too many... These fucking names, you guys.
Yeah.
these fucking names.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't have to be... Dreadlords are the channelers with replaced souls? What do you mean replaced souls? They're just powerful channelers who swear to the Dark One.
Oh, Falion's at the Black Tower. Okay.
Oh, that's right. But they say Phalion is one of the Dreadlords, right? And Phalion is not turned. Phalion
was already Black Aja.
Yeah, she was Black Aja. She's not turned.
I don't think you guys are right. I don't think, Glenn, that you're right. I don't think that the Dreadlords have replaced souls.
No.
I think that the Dreadlords are the elevated people of the Black Aja and of the Ashaman.
Yeah, there's no point.
We could just Google it. Let's just get this right.
I don't want spoilers. Just
what? No. We're not going to get spoiled by the definition of the word Dreadlord. Oh, yeah. I should put in Wheel of Time.
Oh, my God. Who joined the shadow willingly.
Yeah, I know.
It says the actual definition is people who joined the shadow willingly. So a turned person would not be able to be a Dreadlord. Yeah.
They acted as battle commanders, overlords of the Trolloc forces. Above them are Jarl in chain of command.
Yeah.
They're occasionally confused with the Forsaken by the less well-educated.
Great. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the opposite of that.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Demandred is bring me Lews Therin, which Leanne can't do. But honestly, I just wanted Demandred and Lews Therin to have one conversation in the series. And I don't know that they're going to, which is disappointing to me.
I don't know how that would happen, but we'll see.
It is a little bit weird to me to introduce Demandred as this character who only cares about one thing. And then just, not let him do anything.
I know.
And then at the end of the series...
I feel bad for Demandred because he's not going to have, a satisfying conclusion.
Jeffrey T, thank you for that super chat. Appreciate that.
Go.
I honestly think this would have been more interesting if Demandred had died in the White Tower and Masana was Egwene's foul in this sequence.
Oh, with
if it was Masana was leading the Sharans against Egwene because Egwene killed Demandred, and then that would give
Demandred needs closure.
That would just give them a personal connection in this fight.
Yeah.
But Demandred is fighting the White Tower, but he doesn't care about that. He cares about Lews Therin. It's just narratively, I think that this decision is a little bit muddled in terms of why these characters were pitted against each other in Kandor. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Kandor's kind of had that the whole time, where Kandor just has this feeling of we shunted some characters over there because we didn't know how they fit into the larger plot. And so they're just kind of fighting in the fields of Kandor. They don't have a lot of personal motivations for who their enemy is there. They're just kind of doing a thing over there away from everybody else. Because everybody else feels like there's something very intentional happening in their narrative combat as well as the physical combat. And the White Tower at Kandor is just kind of doing stuff against Demandred because we had to put them somewhere.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit like that.
Everyone's got to be fighting because this is the last battle. Can't be sitting around slacking, you know?
But the series is just never really, they keep saying that Demandred is this, incredible leader and, all this stuff. He's never really done anything. And he
pulled all of Shara together.
Yes, yeah. But
it was off page.
But even that, they win because they have the element of surprise.
Well, and why wouldn't you use that?
Now that they're actually fighting Gareth Bryan, that it's not coming across like Demandred is this, incredible military.
Oh, I think they would have been fucking wiped out if the Sanshin weren't there. They would have been so fucked.
Yeah.
I think that we're just not like seeing the stuff that Demandred has done, but I think that like this, why not use surprise? You know, like
I just wish we would see it.
Yeah.
Like I wish we would see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Demandred was the one that was taken into. Demandred was the first chosen that we saw speak to the Dark One in that incredible scene in Lord of Chaos, right?
True, yeah.
And so I really thought he was going to be built up as something really huge, and he's kind of just been given this like C plot thing to do with the Sharans that is very cool and interesting, and I like it. I'm not like I don't hate it. The Sharan culture is fucked up to me, but whatever. It's more just that I thought that he was gonna like come into this in a way that was gonna be really about him and Lews Therin's relationship and how that affects him fighting Rand now.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of over somewhere else doing something else, being like, I want to fight Lews Therin, and Lews Therin is like not even thinking about you, bro.
Yeah.
And that to me, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
You're not even on my mind.
Yeah.
We hop over to Perrin in Tel'Aran'rhiod. What a word. It's just every time I see it.
We've been reading these books for a year and a half.
I know, and every time I see it, I'm like, this is so complicated. Mm-hmm. The wolves are like, hey, Lanfear and Heartseeker are here. So watch out. And he's like, Heartseeker? Who's that? Yeah, so he tries to look for Heartseeker, and they fight, and then he disappears, and then he's like, fork root in your mouth, and she's like, oh shit, this guy actually like knows what the fuck he's doing.
He's fighting Graendal at this point.
Yeah, Heartseeker. Yeah. It's fully Graendal, and she just like nopes out of there because she's like, well, she gets mad. She's like, oh, you fucked up all my plans, and then she realizes that Perrin actually is competent here and just fucking yeets the fuck out of there.
Well, but you skipped over the most important part of this.
Which?
He finds Graendal fucking around in the sky.
Yep.
Like this is the thing we have to talk about here because this is the most important part. He finds Graendal booping around lights in the sky, and he is like, what the fuck is happening?
Yep.
And Lanfear is like, she's fucking around with dreams. That was Davram Bashir's dream.
Yep.
The fighting is secondary to like, what? This is where I was like, oh shit. One of the Forsaken actually has a plan that's brilliant. Finally. It took so goddamn long, but this is so good. And I was so invested. I was like, fuck yeah, Graendal. Thank you for bringing some competence to the world.
Yeah, look, Graendal's plans have definitely fallen apart, but like the initial plans have, I think, been pretty solid. She thwarted Rand with the Balefire. You know, she's fucking around in the dreams. Like,
yeah,
Graendal's got some W's in there.
Graendal kind of is the best Forsaken.
Right now, yeah,
she's sane.
Yeah,
she's not in that like I like what she does. Obviously, she's like a rapist and a terrible person.
Yes,
but in terms of like the best at being evil, she's the only one of them that I would legitimately be like, yes, some of what you've done has been like, and Demandred conquering Shara, really cool. Like, good
very
for you.
Very useful. Yeah,
it just is like an off-page thing where like, oh yeah, he did that, and I'm like, okay, I believe you because you say that it happened.
Yeah.
Whereas with Graendal, like we've actually seen some of what she's accomplished.
Yep.
And that's been cool. It was this moment was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of the Perrin stuff, really cool in this section.
For the last few books.
Yes.
Really, ever since he rescued Fael, I think Perrin's been the strongest character in the books.
Yes, I love
consistently.
Yeah, using Tel'Aran'rhiod and the Wolf Brothers stuff more. It's what I wanted from those middle books, like really badly. I was like, please, dear God, Perrin has this fucking cool power. Let us see it. Please, dear God, Robert Jordan. Now we do.
That and Perrin has the thing that I understand that I'm complaining. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to just be very honest about how I feel. And I don't know how to do this right, guys. But like, Perrin's plotline is doing the thing that I wish more of the plotlines were doing, which was giving me a character using his specific abilities that we've watched him learn and grow into across the books to fight against allies and enemies that he has very personal connections and relationships to and fight with. Like him and Gowl have a legitimate relationship that goes back books that we've watched grow, that we understand the depths of. They're interacting with the world in that Perrin has his own very unique perspective on to fight an enemy that only Perrin can fight and to get against Slayer, who Perrin has this very personal connection to. Perrin's plotline has all of the like endings of a narrative arc that I wish Egwene had. Because as much as I love what Egwene is doing, Egwene is in this weird place where like she doesn't she's just fighting to fight.
But
she has to fight the fight that she's fighting.
But now she's like with Tuon, and the Sanshin are her like number one enemy. So I actually think that we are heading somewhere interesting with that.
That could get there for Egwene.
Yeah.
But I mean, Egwene versus the Sharans and Egwene fighting the like hordes of Kandor to me has just been a little bit like, this is where I was told to be, so I'm here. And that is happening in a few places. Egwene also like, Egwene has Gawain and Swan and Brynn. Like there's a little bit more of that there.
She doesn't have Gawain for long.
But like Lan's storyline, we're gonna get to Lan because I'm so disappointed in one thing with that storyline.
Really?
Yeah. We'll get to it. You'll understand exactly what I mean when we get to it.
Okay.
There's elements of Perrin feels like he is heading towards the end of his arc in his fighting. And I don't really know that a lot of the other characters have that same feeling right now to me. They just kind of feel like they've been put somewhere and they have to do a thing in those places. And I just wish that, like, I wish that Missana was still around for Egwene to have like an antagonist in her combat, right?
I think Tuon is her antagonist. But
she can't be. Tuon, the Sanshin would wipe the White Tower off the face of the earth right now.
I don't mean like in combat.
But they have to. But then
I mean
antagonist
like a
in what?
Political and emotional antagonist.
But an antagonist in like what are they going to?
Like I think that what the series is setting up is for Egwene and Tuon to have to work together, and for the Sanshin to be like, okay, like maybe we were wrong. Like literally, Egwene is like, okay, put on the collar. Put on the collar.
If we go in that direction, absolutely. Yeah. I would be so down for that.
That's what it feels like it's heading towards for me.
I really hope it goes there.
I hope
like, I would I would love that. Yeah. I think what it's going to be, though, is they fight side by side.
Because I just feel like Egwene's wins. I mean, yes.
Let's wait to talk about Egwene. We're about to get to Egwene stuff with Tuon. Let's wait till we get to it. Let's keep moving. Right. Let's keep, like... Yeah. Then, that's Perrin stuff.
Yeah. Lanfear's like, hey, you should have killed Greendall. And he was like, yeah, maybe I should have.
Chapter 23, A Memory of Light.
Wait, was that the section that Lanfear is like, you're kind of hot?
Yeah, a little bit.
Was that the section where, and he's like, I'm married? She's like, yeah, so? I was like, okay. Lanfear doesn't give a fuck.
Lanfear's definitely poly.
Well, yeah, she's like, wow, you're really good with Tel'aran'rhiod. Like, think of all the fun shit you could do in a dream. Anyways, doesn't matter. Next chapter. At the Edge of Time.
At the Edge of Time, Gawain is, like, running around doing stuff, but he leaves his warder's cloak with Egwene because he doesn't need it, because he is using the blood knife ring that he doesn't understand how it works.
Motherfucker. Gawain is dead. My prediction was at the end of last book or the beginning of this one. I think it was the end of last book. Gawain, dead. Doesn't make it. Yeah, they're dead.
Egwene, I can't imagine Egwene survives the book now.
No.
So at least one main character will die.
Yeah, like there's no way that these two make it through. They're absolutely dead.
I can't imagine Egwene like living on without Gawain at the end of the series.
Yeah, I mean, less so like, I mean, I don't know if that's what it really is for me. It's just like, it seems like they are the people that can kind of be the, if they can die, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I hope it doesn't happen here. Like, if Egwene dies, I really hope it's somehow getting back to like.
She doesn't die here.
Again, I really think this fight in Kandor is kind of pointless. So I really hope that they I really want them to pull Egwene away from this to where there's plot happening.
Yeah.
But because I love where Egwene has gotten to in these books. I just don't, the plotline she's in right now just feels very far away from everything else, and it's just kind of like, go fight these people here. And so like Gawain, I think that when Gawain dies, Egwene will go out in a blaze of glory after he dies.
Yeah, like it's going to be so emotionally destructive that she's literally gonna take her fucking flute and like make a fucking crater out of the Forsaken, you know?
It would be interesting if she made a small mountain.
Yeah, I guess.
The, like, Lady Dragon Mount?
I wonder... The Lady Dragon Mount. That's funny. I was like, I wonder
That's a D&D character I would play, the Lady Dragon Mount.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe her versus Lanfear would be interesting, but I don't think that's gonna...
Lanfear's not a villain at this point.
Yeah, she's kind of in that weird in-between area. I just mean, I'm trying to think of, like, Egwene's, like, a really powerful dreamer. So, like, who is gonna be her, like, foil that? And I don't think that's gonna be...
Nobody.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about, is that there really isn't anybody for her to... Because
Perrin is also that whole dream space thing, then it's like he's taking care of Slayer, so... I think Egwene is gonna fucking, like, I don't know, show up at Shale Ghul. She's gonna break the seals, and I think that she might be... Maybe she's gonna be the one to actually seal the Dark One.
Maybe.
But it kills her.
Maybe. That would be interesting. I would be down for that.
I could see that happening, actually.
I would be down for there to be consequences to this.
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of our main characters are still kind of living through all of these fights.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, I would like to see something happen at the end of the series where somebody has to pay the price of this, other than just Rand, you know? Because if it's just Rand, then I'm like, okay, you told me he was going to die for 10 books and then he died. Like, okay.
Yeah, no,
that's fine, but...
It's one of those things where we've been told Rand is going to die that I don't think he's gonna. So...
I think he dies. And then I think that, like, the book ends with him reborn somehow. Or like Matt blows the horn and he gets to, like, spend one last day with Min and Aviendha and Elaine.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like, something like that would be really interesting.
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
Every time they want to see Rand, Matt has to blow the horn.
That's so funny. Gawain, dumbass, putting on those rings. Then we get Egwene's point of view, and she starts moving around, but she's like waiting there, and somebody shields her.
Yeah.
And so she uses her bond, because normally she's like super calm and cool and collected, and she like purposefully uses the bond, like she lets her emotions go so they can go through the bond, so that Gawain knows that something's wrong. Because like Egwene is kind of like a really stone cold wall sometimes. Especially with her emotions. And so she's, like, trying to find that balance of not letting them overwhelm her, but, like, letting her feel enough to aid her in the current situation.
Yeah.
Which I think was a really interesting balance that they introduced.
But it doesn't matter, because Egwene walks up and bashes the Chandler in the head.
Yeah, Egwene is like, nah, and Egwene is like, wait, you saved me, and she's like, yeah, I take my oath seriously. Are you surprised?
I was so glad it was Egwene, because, look, I really thought, I was like, wow, Leowyn has not done a fucking thing in so long. Brandon Sanderson, thank you for giving her something to do in this book. For not being like a total waste of page.
Yeah.
I thought I liked her showing up here a lot. I thought it was a great moment.
Yeah. So then the two of them and Gawain and Bail Doman head off.
I also like that Bail was like, I should have come with you. And again, it's like, you are very, very loud. You're you're very...
Please no.
I love you. I love you.
But no.
But you are very loud.
Yeah. I think that Egwene knows exactly what Gawain did with those rings.
You think so?
Yeah, well, because she sees him appear and she, like, looks... Because she knows he has the rings.
Oh, yeah.
She already knows that they're there. Yeah. Bail does not have advantage on sneak. We go to Aviendha. Also, really enjoyed her stuff in this section.
Yeah, the way in which she's become a leader I find very interesting. And I think she's doing a really good job with what she's been given, which is fun. Like, I think that, like, Aviendha...
And the pride that, like, Amis has.
Yeah.
Like, that was the interaction that I was like, oh, thank God Amis is there.
Well, and that's why, like, the whole, like, surrounding the characters with the people who care about them is so valuable at this point in their arcs.
Yeah.
It's why, like, I wish we got a little bit more time with Rand and his women, but whatever. It is what it is. The Aviendha, like, does some really cool fighting outside the Shadow Forgers.
Yeah.
That involves... like dreadlords and like fighting.
Yeah, this is where Fallion is there. They kill Fallion and someone else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Graendal is there and yeets out before they can kill her.
I really love though the moment of like they're using a circle and Aviendha is fucking like weaving these things of fire that are so much power she can't even control it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, guys, we need to use smaller circles.
Yeah. We don't actually need this much. And she experiences the male half of the source for the first time, that like trying to wrestle with the power instead of the surrender, which was a nice little touch because I was like, oh, right, yeah, that would feel different for her.
But there's no way Aviendha struggles with that. Aviendha can wrestle.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm not worried about Aviendha struggling with that side
din at all. Pin me down any day, you know?
I will say the one thing I was a little bit confused about in this was that she comes up with an interesting plan, which is that she's going to have 3 circles, 2 of them not channeling and 1 of them channeling.
Yeah.
To try and draw people in, and then the 2 circles that aren't channeling will attack them because they won't see it coming.
Oh, I thought it was 2 that are channeling and then 1 that was hiding.
Sure.
Something
Whichever
along that lines, yeah.
I kind of just assumed, and I think that maybe I'm just wrong about this, but I assumed that once you formed a circle, people would just see it. Like, once you kind of, like...
Yeah.
If you can see... If a woman can look at a woman who is holding the source, not channeling, but just holding the source, and they glow, wouldn't, like, 10 women in a circle be, like, a beacon of light? I can understand why someone who can't channel, but...
Can you be in a circle without holding the source?
No.
Right. So, maybe it's just they're like, well, the battle is just going to be too crazy hectic for them to notice.
Maybe. And maybe that's what it is.
Right, like, you keep them super far away, but you'd have to take that into account. Like, they wouldn't be able to be, like, hiding 10 feet away behind a rock, you know? Yeah.
It was just one of those things where I was like, oh, I figured the circles... I thought that once you circled up, you would be so visible that, like, it wouldn't matter as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you'd have to keep some distance.
I don't know. I don't understand. This is not me being like, this is bad. This is just me being like, this was surprising. I didn't understand.
I don't get it, yeah.
Because in my head, I had this idea that circles were, like, a bunch of people who are, like nightlights. If you put 10 nightlights together, it's a significant amount of light, right?
Yep, definitely. Chris Porter, thank you for that super chat. Did they invert the weaves?
They never said that they did?
They didn't say that they did. And also, I don't think inverting the weaves stops you from glowing, right? When you hold the source,
yeah, that's a good point.
Literally glow. Like, you can hide the weaves.
You can hide something that you're actively doing, but I don't think we've ever seen anybody hide that they are holding the source. Maybe it's happened in the books and we're just forgetting it, but I don't remember that ever happening.
Yeah, does inverting the weaves stop you from glowing?
I don't know. Just curious. But yeah, Avienda fucking crushes it here. I really like the description of the Shadow Forgers. I think they're very cool. Mm-hmm. I kind of hope we get some more with them because I think they're pretty rad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rantel Moore says maybe they mastered the art of standing so still as to appear invisible.
God damn it.
You can't see me right now.
Drax, we can see you.
But also, he's talking in that scene, and I'm like, if your lips are moving, you're not being still. It doesn't matter.
No, I know. Yeah, Avienda is a badass here.
And this ends with, like, the great Amis line of, you now have the, like, leadership, you are now a leader, which means you get all the headaches of being a leader.
Yeah.
Which I was like, well done.
Yeah, but she's, like, so happy and, like, proud of it. Oh, it warmed my cold heart.
Seasting777 says, at Winter's heart battle, Sindane did that against Olivia. She was weaving, but it was all obfuscated, so she didn't know what was happening. That's fair.
She didn't know what the weaves were.
But she still knew that Sindane was weaving.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're talking about. We've established that, like, women, when they're holding on to the source, not even channeling.
Oh, when Semiraj attacked Rand, Nynaeve didn't see anything. That is true.
Oh, I wondered if maybe
Gregory Love. Yeah. No, that is a thing.
I thought that might have been a Terangrial because I feel like we hadn't had, like...
But there is a way to do it in the world. Is basically what it is.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Also, where the fuck is Olivia? Isn't she supposed to kill Rand?
She's here.
Is she?
Yeah.
I did not see her name anywhere.
Yeah, it was mentioned one single time.
I really thought Olivia was going to be a bigger part of these books because she's going to kill Rand. And, like, the books have completely forgotten that she exists.
I know, and I feel bad. Like, I want to get to, like, know her as a person.
Nah, she's just gonna show up and do a thing.
Yeah. But it's also interesting that Egwene is like, you have to tell me everything about Sanchin culture to Egwene when they have Olivia there.
They've had Olivia for a while?
Yeah, like, what did Olivia not tell them?
Actually, I don't know that Egwene has ever met Olivia. I don't know that Egwene knows who Olivia is.
Really?
Yeah, because Olivia's been with Rand the whole time. She's never been with Egwene. So I don't think that...
But, like, she knows that Olivia exists. You know what I mean? Because Nynaeve would, like...
I don't think she would. Why would you bring her up?
I don't know. Her and Nynaeve have meetings. I just assumed that was, like, kind of important.
Maybe.
I don't know. You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I was just hoping I was hoping that Olivia was going to be one of the keys the series would use to dismantle the Sanchin slavery culture. And she just has been kind of not used to do anything. And definitely not interact with the Sanchin in any way.
Yeah, I wish she was more prevalent.
It's just not, I wanted more out of the character. And, we might get a little bit, but here's one of the problems.
There's still half a book left.
I know, but there's so much that has to happen with main characters that to tell a satisfying story around Olivia at this point, I think it's a little too late.
Yeah.
You would have to detract from everybody else.
Yeah.
In order to do it. And so it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. It's just a character that I think would have been cool to get more from.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's all.
I hear you.
We cut to Rand, who this is when Rand appears at the base of Shyle Ghul.
Right, and then him and Evander make eye contact.
Yeah.
From across the distance.
They do the
Yeah, basically.
And this is how they say goodbye?
Yeah. They're busy. They got shit to do.
I'm not gonna lie. You could have just written some goodbye scenes. And we'll get into the goodbye scene that I really wanted. Look, you could have written a couple of them.
There's the relationships in this series.
I know, but to not get like Gawain and Egwene's wedding when they're gonna die.
I know.
To not like.
I know. Trust me, I know.
There's so many goodbyes. To have Min and Rand not say goodbye, so that Min can go off and do that bullshit. The emotional scenes are literally just cut out of this book. They just aren't there.
Yeah.
It is just battle. And I think that I would actually enjoy the battle more if the book was willing to give me some of the relationship stuff in greater quantities.
Yeah.
Because I
care about these people. I want to know how they deal with these things, not just like the mechanics of it, but like the emotional influences behind that.
There is so much description of like pikemen and lines. And I just think that like Egwene and Gawain's wedding would have been a satisfactory thing to have in the book.
I agree. Yeah.
And I think that it would cut up what is a lot of just kind of like, we're losing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But we're gonna get to the reunion that doesn't happen. That
Yep. Rand going to Shagul.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so Tom is there.
They bring Tom. Here's the thing. They bring Tom, but they don't bring Min. That one was so weird to me because it was like, they have the same, like, not powers. They have the same skills with the knives and shit. But he's like, no, Min, you're a liability. But Tom, you can stay.
But also, they bring Tom seemingly without a plan for why he's there.
He's like, I guess I'm going to wait here. And they're like, oh, yeah, you should probably wait here.
Like, oh, that's a good plan. But, like, I was there, like, did Tom just, like, walk through the portal and you guys, like, didn't realize it until the last minute?
We kind of forgot that Tom was there.
Because they seem surprised that he's there. Moraine is like, oh, right, my husband. Fuck, I'm not used to being married.
And so he's like, well, I guess I'll guard this thing. That I can do that.
There's a ledge I can write some songs
That
from.
wasn't, like, a plan.
Yeah.
But he's like, I guess I'll do that.
And maybe it was a Rand plan that he just didn't share with Moraine. But Moraine legitimately seems to believe that Tom is just coming.
Yeah.
And even Tom is like, I don't know. I think this is my spot.
Yeah.
It just this felt very. It felt unintentional in a way that I found very funny.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Yeah, he's gonna watch the battle and maybe write some songs and poems about it.
He's just up there like, we didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the wheel's been turning. And so...
oh yeah, Rand is bleeding.
Rand bleeds on the rocks of Shyle Ghul. Oh my god.
He did it.
It's like prophecy.
Yeah.
And
he was
but
like,
he's
maybe
just
we
kind
should
of
stop.
But he's bleeding for no reason.
It just opened up again. Look, I have never had a wound that like continually opens up, so I don't understand like medically how that works. But yeah, they just like walk in here and he just starts bleeding.
We don't have magic in the real world, so.
Yeah. That's also true.
I thought that Olivia was going to be the one that made him bleed on the rocks of Shyle Ghul.
Nah, he just coughed too hard.
He stopped walking, and so he started bleeding.
It like pooled.
Yeah.
You know? It was just funny. I was like, oh no, he's just bleeding. Don't worry about it.
And so he goes in to the thing. He unsheathes Kalendor. And he asks Moraine and Nynaeve to form a circle. Moraine is like, should we do it safely? We'll be in control. And he's like, I'm not trying to be safe. And then they go in and they walk down the tunnel of time problems, of time dilation or whatever you want to call it. And
wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
As he's there, he's like, "Fuck, is it the right time?" God, I think.
Are you there,
it's
God?
Like, it is time. Let the task be undertaken.
Yeah.
Randall Thor, someday all this will be yours. He lives in you. Hey-ya, hey-ya.
Could you imagine if Rand actually becomes the Dark One? Rand does not defeat the Dark One, he becomes the Dark One. You know what I mean? Oh, I also love that the cave is closing and Rand stops and stands. He's like, "No,
I will not crawl to you, Dark One.
No, cut out this fucking bullshit." I was like, "That's so good."
So, this is literally the voice of God.
The Dark One.
No, it's not the Dark One.
What do you mean?
This is the voice of. This is just God. Just talks to Rand.
No, that's the Dark One talks like that.
No.
Yeah.
Because the next time we see Rand. The first thing that is said is that the Dark One realizes Rand is there for the first time.
No,
this is not. No, this is not the Dark One.
They notice it the moment he walks into the tunnel.
No.
Yes, they do.
No.
Yes, they do.
No, I'm telling you right now.
No.
This is the voice of Nakomi speaks to Rand in this moment.
No. The Dark One literally notices.
Light Blinded Fool says I'm right. Guillermo Barrow says I'm right.
No, it's the moment he enters the tunnel.
No, this is literally God. I'm telling you right now, it's not the Dark One. The creator, whoever the fuck it is, just speaks to Rand. He's like, "This has been going on for too long. Get to it."
No.
Everybody is actually agreeing with me in chat for once. It's the only time it's ever happened in a year and a half of podcasting, but chat is all on my side here.
Okay, where does he walk in? Because it says they literally, the dagger does its thing.
Yeah, which means that Rand can't, which is why the Dark One can't sense Rand yet.
No, he senses him as soon as he...
No, that is, you're thinking about the next Rand POV. I promise you're thinking about the next Rand POV.
God damn it. That doesn't make any sense.
Why?
We didn't, because there is no God. We don't,
Yeah, there is. There's the creator. They've talked about the creator the whole series. In chapter 25...
But the creator doesn't influence or touch the world.
Chris Porter, thank you for that super chat. I would love it if some stupid accident happened. Rand is destroyed by the Dark One, the pattern destroyed, and we never learn what the Dark One really was.
Could you imagine?
That would be hilarious.
Climbed forward.
Here, it's in chapter 25.
Yeah, I'm here.
No, you're not. You're in chapter 23.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, but I'm saying that but in chapter 20, I'm going to show you the exact time where 2 chapters later, the Dark One realizes Rand is there. In chapter 25, sorry, chat. We can't skip over this because God literally just shows up.
I thought that was the Dark One.
No, it's God. It is literally just God talking to Rand. Oh, here it is.
What the fuck? It was Bella. You're right. It was Bella.
2 chapters later, the Rand POV starts with, as Rand entered the cavern, something changed in the air. The Dark One only now sensed his arrival and was surprised by it. The dagger had done its job.
I thought when we talked about the tunnel closing, I thought that's what this was.
The creator literally just talks to Rand out of the blue for no fucking reason.
He says he's heard this voice once before.
In book 1.
What?
Yeah, in the first book.
When?
Apparently God talks to him in the first book. Everyone in chat's saying it.
What? What? I've read the first book twice now.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't love it, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, I guess it doesn't actually matter.
I don't really. I'm not sure. I love that God suddenly talks to Rand now, but it's fine.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I thought that
it implies
only
that
the
God...
Dark One talked in all capitals.
It's just
I thought it was the Dark One.
it has the implication that the creator is like has like intentions, which I find weird. You know what I mean? That like the creator intended for all of this. I don't like anytime the creator intended for all of this, because that means that like the creator intended for slavery to happen, which is like a weird thing that I always struggle with.
Well, yeah, if the creator has intention in this moment, it means that it has intention at other points in time, and so it's just kind of.
Yeah, and honestly, like it gets into my issue with prophecy of like, oh well, if this was all supposed to happen, then why did anybody do anything? Like, then why does it matter that it happened? It is kind of the like whole like free will.
Prophecies can be fulfilled in different ways, so.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't like detrimental. It was just a weird like, oh, that was God. And I didn't realize that it was God until 2 chapters later, and I went back and was like, oh, God just spoke to Rand.
Oh, you didn't realize? Okay, I was like, wow,
No.
I feel like a dumbass.
I didn't realize it was God until I got to chapter 25 and read Rand be like, the Dark One only now sensed, and I was like, no, the Dark One talked to him 2 chapters ago, so I went back and read it, and I flipped back and forth a couple times, and I was like, oh, that must be God.
Yeah, sure, I guess. All right, God talks to Rand. Cool.
Yeah.
I missed that.
All right. Next chapter, 24, to ignore the omens. Fortuona is in Abu Dar watching Matt get shit ready, and she's like, you know what, dude? You're naughty. And so she pronounces that his name will forever be Naughty.
Yeah.
Because he's a naughty, naughty boy. All
right, King Julian.
He is also the rod holder.
Hot. Hot.
So Matt gets renamed as the Naughty Rod Holder.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a porn book in a fantasy setting.
Oh, that's his like stage name.
It is like
Naughty
what's
Rod
the one
Holder.
from Skyrim? The lusty Argonian
The Lusty
Maid.
Argonian Maid. And
the sequel to the Lusty Argonian Maid is the Naughty Rod Holder.
No, it's the something Argonian Bard. What's it? There's the Lusty Argonian Maid and this something Argonian Bard, but I can't remember what the name is. Weird.
Spooters,
Yeah.
you can't. It's not a dead name because
Matt didn't pick it.
Matt didn't pick it. Yeah.
It's
only dead naming if you are disrespecting a name that someone has chosen for themselves and asked you not to use.
Yeah.
Matt heard her go naughty and went, I don't mind it, but like my name's Matt.
Your name is Mark from now on.
Fuck that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
No, why did you go with my sister's husband's name?
It was the first thing that came. I don't fucking know.
Oh God, that's so weird.
Doesn't matter. You can't be David now. That's dead naming. I decided. I fucking decided.
My name is Nerdy. Please respect that.
Sultry Argonian Bard. Thank you.
I just was like, really, you went with the Naughty Rod Holder, Brandon Sanderson?
Yeah, the Naughty Rod Holder.
It just sounds like a gay porno, which I know is not okay in the Mormon faith. So like,
Well.
I think this was one of those like Freudian moments.
It's a Freudian slip. Yeah. Matt from Cawthon, now known as the Naughty Rod Holder, coming to a strip club near you. He does take his clothes off.
This is the fantasy version of Magic Mike.
Yes. He does stand bare-chested next to Min later, who's like, God, I want to do the same thing. And he's like, all right, I dare you.
And then she gets mad at him, and I was like, Min, you walk... Mm-hmm. That was a joke that I was like, that's a funny joke for Matt to say, and Min being like, oh, you're not allowed to say that. Min, you started it.
Yeah, I mean, that was you. That one was on you a little bit.
She's just so used to Rand being all flustered by her butt that he can't, like, have any comebacks.
Yeah.
And so she was surprised that someone actually...
Well, unless he comes back. It doesn't matter.
LK, just funny. It's actually not AI, confirming Matt was a simulation all along.
Not AI! Oh.
No, he's the Naughty Rod Holder.
Gotcha. No, yeah, Naughty Rod Holder. I'm gonna write a fan fiction.
This makes him third in command beneath Galgan. So Galgan is now like, oh, well, I have to assassinate Matt. Matt's like, cool, great. Thanks, wife, making my life more complicated as we go into war.
Oh, but it's a sign of respect. They think you're a threat if they try and kill you.
Yeah.
God, the fucking Sachin.
And the Naughty Rod Holder says, we gotta go. Egwene is under attack, and we need to help. And Fortuona is like, oh, I guess I said that we would help them. Fine. But any treaty can be broken by the Empress because it is just a piece of paper.
Oh my god, I know. I can break any treaty, but I'm going to decide.
She signed the treaty fucking like 3 days ago.
I know, and already she's like, I can break it.
Matt. You don't understand how the Sunshine work. We don't have any honor. We suck. We are the worst people.
The Empress is above treaties.
Yeah. The Empress is above the word of the Empress is what she's saying, which is the most like she sucks. She's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do not like Tuan, in case you didn't notice. But we find Lan at Tarwin's Gap, and there's some weird shit going on, some shenanigans. Agelmar's like, yeah, my dreams are a little funky.
Carrie S, thank you for that super chat.
Carrie, thank you.
Can't wait to see you guys again at DragonCon. You too.
It's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
They go out of their way to be like, Agelmar is coming up with reasonable plans, but he has weird dreams, and Lan is like, curious.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Yeah. And then we move on to Elaine.
And I was like, oh, Greendale. Greendale's fucking with Agelmar. Great. Lan's gonna die.
As soon as we found out about the Greendale doing dream shit, I was like, oh.
Wait, no. This is okay. Now I can talk about it because this is where it happens. Oh. Lan. Wait, no, it doesn't happen here. Never mind. Next chapter.
I don't know what you're gonna talk about.
We'll get to it.
Mm-hmm. Elaine's point of view.
Elaine is putting her position. She's gotten to Kyrian. She's outside of Kyrian, and they come up with a plan to circle the. Oh, actually, no, that was the land thing where it happens. I think. Maybe?
Really? What happens?
Give me 1 second. Yeah, that is it. Lan pats his chest. So we're gonna go back one. Lan pats his chest and is like, "There's the letter from Nynaeve." Let the fucking characters talk to each other.
Oh.
These characters can teleport. Just write scenes where they talk to each other before the end of the fucking scenes. The book. Lan and Nynaeve, literally, Lan fucked off books ago to go right across the north. And Nynaeve can goddamn teleport and knows where Lan is. And they don't get a final moment together before this.
Yeah.
Instead, she sends him a letter and he's like, oh, very sweet. Time for war. And I was like, just give me, like,
Aww.
Just give me a page.
I know, something.
Just give me a page of him being like, hey, I'm sorry I left. Hey, I love you. Hey, we're married.
Yeah.
Just give me
like, we're married.
Just give me a little bit instead of like having all of the relationship stuff off page in this book. Because it is making this book feel very rushed to me. This book feels like it is rushing through these fights.
Right, because we don't get the emotional parts of it.
Yes, because the characters aren't interacting with the people they claim to love. Yeah. Because they're like, we're skipping over the ends of the emotional arcs to get to these battles that suddenly sprung up in this book and don't really tie off a lot of like emotional arc from previous books. These battles are just battles, right? That these characters are fighting because they're in this position. Yeah. I just like, give me like, I don't need a letter. I want to see these characters interact. Yeah. I don't need weddings off page. I don't need romance off page. I don't need to be told that those things happened. Yeah. Those are the things I want to see now because that's what's going to make me cry. Yeah. I'm not going to cry because of the combat. I don't care. Like, that stuff is going to happen no matter what.
Yeah. It's the emotional stuff that actually matters.
And so this I was like, when he was like, oh yeah, I got a letter from Nynaeve, I was like, fuck. Are we going to see any of these characters interact with people who aren't at their battlefield for the rest of these books? When these characters can teleport!
I know. And also, like, enter the dream world.
They could spend every night together. They just could. And it wouldn't... And they're opening the gateways anyway to move stuff around, so it wouldn't even be hard. Yeah. And they just don't.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Anyways,
Elaine makes a sick speech, you know? She rewrites it on the fly. And Brigitte's like, oh, when did you change that? She's like, you know what? The sun went out, and I kind of forgot my lines. Like, that's fair. You know what? That is valid. We've all been on stage where something happens and distracts you, and you're like, deer in the headlights.
Yeah, but usually we just falter.
Well, she made something up.
No, I'm saying she crushed it.
She crushed it.
My worst break ever on stage. Oh my God. I was in Indianapolis.
Elf?
Yeah, I was doing Elf the musical. I was on the like national tour of Elf. And I was the understudy for Buddy the Elf. And so I'd done the show once. I played Buddy in our opening night in Hershey, Pennsylvania, because Daniel had drank a eggnog milkshake at a gas stop on the side of the road that we all told him not to do. And he got sick from it and was not able to do the show the next day. And so I had done it once, but we got to Indianapolis and we had like a 3-show day.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel wanted to do all 3, but the company said no. And so I was on for the 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And Daniel was in like the 6th row center. So I could see him the entire show watching. And he's the best. Honestly, one of the best dudes in the world. One of the kindest. Like, I wish I had half of his kindness.
Mm-hmm.
People would like me more. So he's like looking up at me, and we're getting the guy who played my dad had like fumbled his line, and so we're going into the big Act 2 song, The Story of Buddy the Elf, and he fumbled his line, and so I was a little bit like thrown off by it, and I turned to Travis on the other side of the stage, and I start the song, and I'm like, page 1. And I had there was just nothing. There were no words. There was nothing in my head. And I'm looking at Travis and I'm looking back and the composer's staring at me. And I look out and I make eye contact with Daniel. And I'm standing. My mom is in the audience.
Yeah.
Like my mom flew to Indianapolis to see me.
Uh-huh.
I am fully dead on stage. Like there was just nothing. And we had like 7 band members and the rest of the orchestra was on a click track. Mm-hmm. And so that click track kept going until the guy had stopped it. So that was like 2 bars ahead. And I was standing there on stage just like page 1. And finally Audra puts her fucking clipboard in front of her face and she's like, fresh out of toys. I was like, fresh out of toys. Santa makes his way back. The rest of the song just falls out. Nothing.
Thank you, Audra. Thank you, Audra.
I thought that I had been standing there for a year.
Yeah.
I thought like the world had come to an end. A meteorite had struck. Nukes had gone off. It was 6 seconds. It was literally 6 seconds, and nobody in the audience knew. Yeah. But I will remember it.
You know, you feel it. You're like, yeah.
It is the strongest memory I have of that entire tour. Is those 6 seconds that felt like the long. Yeah. It's so funny.
When I was doing Mary Poppins, our Mary, we were in the middle of Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and she like comes, like she like steps up and she's like, and when you forget the words and don't know what to say, and everybody's just fucking burst laughing because she full like went. And we're all like, girl, it's all right. We've been there. Oh, we've done this 60 times.
I've done that. So just been like, I don't know. I was doing a Christmas concert and I was singing Chestnuts Roasting Over an Open Fire. Yeah. Fully just went, I don't know what the 3rd verse is. My brain. Yeah, it happens.
Guys, it happens.
It happens.
It happens.
All right. So.
It's good times. Good times.
So Elaine gives a great speech, much better improv than I did on stage. Mm-hmm. And she has to because the sun is occluded. And we know like they're lining up the plot lines with like when the sun is crossed over with darkness.
Yep. Bad shit's happening.
Yeah. A total eclipse of the sun. Forever's gonna start tonight. And
kind of.
Literally.
Maybe. Actually, maybe.
And Elaine is like, I'm a fight. And Brigitte's like, what? And she's like, if we lose, my babies die anyway. Like, what am I going to do? Not fight? Yeah. And Brigitte's like, yeah, that's fair.
Okay, fine. But we're going to do it over here.
That's fair. But, like, maybe don't be at the front.
We're going to be smart about it. You're going to help plug holes.
That's what she said.
Exactly. That is what Brigitte said.
That is what Brigitte said. She is an airtight girl.
Wow.
Look, this podcast is what it is. If you're still here, that's not the worst thing I've said on this show.
No, it's not.
As long as all 3 men are super ugly, she's down for it.
That's true. Yep.
Oh my god, you know who Brigitte would fucking love to have sex with? Grendel's new body.
Oh, I didn't think Brigitte was bi.
She's into ugly people. And look, she's going to see Grendel. Even if she's not bi right now, she's going to be like, that's the ugliest person ever.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Get on me.
Oh my god.
You just have to find a like ugly misshapen strap-on. They'll be good to go.
Yeah, they'll love it. Mm-hmm. Riddell Iturralde is hanging out at Sheol, as one does at the end of a series.
Hey, remember the Sea Folk?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember them? They haven't really done anything.
They're doing stuff.
They're fighting the Dark One with the Bowl of Winds, apparently.
Apparently they're off, using the Bowl of Winds, because otherwise it would be too windy.
I was like, this was one of those things where I was like, Sure.
Yeah, okay. At least they have a thing to do.
Every time we learn anything about the sea folk, it is always me being like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. No, it was great.
Oh, the Amayar all killed themselves? Sure.
Yeah. So they're...
Why has this never been brought up before?
I don't know. They're using the Bowl of Winds to make sure it's not too windy for people, which I guess is nice of them. And then Iturralde fucks up the Trollocs.
Oh, it's so cool.
Absolutely fucking demolishes them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. Well done.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, we held for one day. Let's go.
Yeah, but I love the description of it, and I love like the way that this chapter gets into Iturralde's brain about like, oh hey, if I move a bunch of Earth, I have humans, that's a lot of work. Yeah. It's gonna wipe out the channelers. What can I move that is light but dangerous? And like it gets into a lot of the smart stuff that the humans are doing, right? Like it's not important enough to talk about it in the Min section, but when Min goes to the traveling path later, and like you have to crawl through, we're making the gateways as small as possible to save energy.
To conserve, yeah.
And she's like, oh, I have to crawl. And I was like, no, that makes so much sense. Like that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Why would you waste energy making a man-sized hole when a man can squeeze, or a woman can squeeze...
With fireworks? Sorry.
Do you think that Matt can open a man-sized gateway with fireworks?
Probably.
If he blows them up in the right way?
If anyone can, Naughty Rodholder can do it, you know?
So, like, this battle with the burning logs, I mean, it was very Return of the Jedi. I love that it was, like, the Ewoks fucking fighting the Empire.
Yeah.
But, loved it. The brambles... And his being like, the brambles get harder to traverse as you go, so that you never pick up momentum.
Yeah.
I was like, that is... I fucking love Iturralde.
Yeah,
I love him
smart.
So much.
Mm-hmm.
So much.
Yeah, so fucking good.
Yeah,
like,
this was great.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Wish we'd had more of him. I think we've, there's definitely enough there, but like, he's a really cool character.
He's also written more realistically than anybody else. Mm-hmm. He actually like has suffered the consequences of war in a way that makes him so much more like some of the soldiers are like Lan, who's like, I am stone, and like
yeah,
he is a
Rand,
fantasy
who's
character.
like, I just need to be as hard as I possibly can be,
and like Gareth Bryan is just like calculating and cold and shut off, right? Mm-hmm. They're fantasy generals. Riddell is the general who feels the most like a real person to me, because he's standing there going, my hands are shaking because of Meridon. Like, this war has actually impacted me emotionally. And that makes him so fascinating.
Yep.
It's so good. I just want to hang out with him.
Yeah. Seems like a really cool guy.
I just loved it. I love this whole sequence. And I loved him. Like, I loved that he's like, they're going to turn around. And he starts walking away. Like, fucking, like, the opening of CSI Miami. And everyone else is like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. He puts the sunglasses on and walks through the gateway.
Yeah, that's great.
And then they like, oh, yeah, he's right. They turned. Chef's kiss.
Well done.
This honestly, one of my favorite things I've read in all of the Wheel of Time was just this POV of Riddell.
Yep.
So cool.
Yeah. 11 out of 10.
And he's not perfect. He's shaking and he's a little bit broken, but he keeps going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if Rand had a little bit more of that. I wouldn't mind if Rand felt a little bit more human after Veins of Gold. He became like a little Jesus-y.
He's Jesus, yeah.
And I think that like if they had toned that down, I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. I like where Rand is. I'm really enjoying him, but I think that a couple more like human cracks in that would have been nice.
Yeah. I hear you.
Chapter 25, I think. Quick fragments, which is what this whole book is quick fragments. Basically,
yeah.
Swan is like, oh hey, Egwene's alive. Great. Cool.
Love that for us.
Yeah. And they are getting ready to battle, and Egwene is like, we're gonna stand on the hills, and we're gonna stand at the river, we're gonna stand in the fields, we're gonna fight for freedom. And they're like, hey, there's some rockin'. There's Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster live from Hollywood Studios in sunny Disney World, Orlando. Disneyland. No, there's no Rock and Roller Coaster in Disneyland.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. My bad. I was like, I'm pretty sure.
No, it's at Hollywood Studios in Disney World.
You right. Great ride.
And Rand had sent a message with Min. Didn't get to see their goodbye. That the Sanshin fight the Shadow.
Yay.
And Min is now a clerk.
Yeah. Hey, Min's super big brain. Yeah.
The books were like, Min will do something later. We're just gonna give her a job.
Oh, she's gonna do something later.
Yeah, she's gonna get kidnapped.
That just means she's gonna level up.
I fucking hope so.
You know
She's gonna be the next Amerlin seat.
Probably.
Min gets kidnapped by the Sachin and she becomes the Amerlin.
Basically.
It's the circle of life.
We get Rand in the cavern, and you're right. This is when the Dark One senses Rand, and he's like, oh, I guess the dagger works.
Yeah.
And then this is the moment where the cavern gets smaller, and Rand is like, no, fuck you. And the Dark One's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Exactly like that, verbatim. That's how it happened.
This is also where we see Shadar Haran's lifeless body.
Corpse, yeah.
I was really hoping he'd do something cool in this book.
Me too.
It's fine. Rand uses Kalendor to like light up the room where the Dark One's nothing black body is. And he's like, Nynaeve, Moraine, I got this. And Muradin is like, he's like, Moradin, be a good guy. Moradin's like,
nah.
No.
Cool. All right, we fight.
We fight.
Yeah.
This was cool. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of hoping we would like get a little bit of this, but
nope.
This is the last thing Rand does for the next 4 chapters.
We've already seen them fight. It's fine.
Yeah, but like this is Rand to me is the most important part of this book, and he's in it the least.
He's definitely like present.
His stuff is very tidbitty.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping that Memory of Light was going to have a lot more Rand in it.
I feel like it'll balance out with the last battle.
That is
my guess. Yeah.
I really do hope so. I was just hoping for more. I was hoping for more Rand in this book. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm missing him a little bit.
Fair.
Yeah, just personally.
Yeah, I get that.
Because like I was like, oh cool, we're gonna get more Rand in the next few chapters, and like we see Perrin see him, but we do not come back to this at least for 4 chapters from now.
Mm-hmm.
Lan. We cut over to Lan, and Lan is like, oh my god, all my people are hurt. Let's pull back. Let's let someone else be at the front. Hey, wait, those 2 teams are headed in the same direction. Agomar's evil.
Well,
It's the only explanation.
He doesn't think that. He's like, that's a strange mistake. Like, he gets like a little, like, he makes a mental note of it. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm going to check in on this. Because also, what's-his-face was like, yeah, Agomar made, like, a weird mistake. And Lan is like, oh, well, it's battle.
Balder.
Yes.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. So, Lan is like, okay, that's strike number 2. That is definitely sus. And he's like, I'm going to go look into that later. But first, we get Perrin.
Well, no, I like what he does here, which is that he's like, hey, dude. I can't remember who he's talking to. But he's like, if you wanted to fuck up the army from the inside and you were in charge, what would you do?
Oh, I thought that was next.
Oh, is it the next thing?
Yeah, because
some of these plot lines blend together.
I know, because they happen like sequentially. But yeah, this is the point where he just notices a thing and he's like, I'm going to check in on that. And then, he does talk to that guy.
But let's go to Perrin first. Perrin is fighting Slayer. Slayer's back. And they just kind of like have a little bit of a warning match. They don't really like go full fight yet. They're bouncing around. There's some weird imagery where people are dust. I didn't really know what was going on.
Slayer's like, you're here in the flesh.
Yeah. And then Perrin is like fighting Slayer through the dust things as they swirl around them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some cool shit going on.
Teleran Real's getting fucking weird, y'all.
Yeah, there's a red veiled Aiel group of people. And then the wolves join in and help out with that. Thank God for the wolves. Clutch.
So Slayer leaves. He is like, not yet. And he is like, I'm glad you're here because I want to kill you so bad, but they told me I couldn't hunt you. But now I can just now you're here.
Now you're here.
So I will be doing my job.
Thank you for the present.
And Lanfear, so they take a couple of the red veiled Aiel captive because Perrin is like, you're stupid, and they're like, we're dumb.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
Lanfear is like, just kill them. Their souls are gone. They've been turned. And Perrin's like, I really don't want to do that though.
Yeah.
And so Gaul, who's a fucking badass, and apparently already like a master of the dream world and can like bamf around, and he's like Nightcrawler at this point.
Yeah, he fucking gets it.
He kills them because they were brothers.
Yeah. He's like, nah, that's my job.
That was the most emotional part of the whole reading this week. I was like, goddamn, Gaul.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Yep.
This legitimately got me. I wasn't expecting it, but
it's brutal.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things that's just so tragic. It's not like, you have them captured and it's like, if you just let them go, they're just going to hurt more people because they literally don't have a soul. They can't be reasoned with. There is nothing to be done here because they have been, it's brutal. It's, the Dark One sucks. Gao kills them. And
then Perrin is like, Lanfear heals Perrin, and Perrin's like, and Gao, and she's like, I don't work for you. And he's like, if you want to be friends, it's a good place to start. And she's like, fine.
Yep.
I will do something that is like the least amount of energy needed.
Yeah.
She wants to be a good guy, but she's still petty and the worst.
Yeah.
So it's hard for her.
Yeah.
She's working on it.
She's trying, you know. She's got progress to make, and that's okay.
She do be trying.
Yeah.
She do be trying.
And so Perrin goes to give a message to Nynaeve because the veil, very thin.
He goes into the boar and watches Rand and Morden fight, and Nynaeve and Moiraine are just kind of standing there watching.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do, right?
I don't know.
It's like
it's just very funny.
That would suck.
It would be like if Luke and Vader are fighting in the Emperor's throne room, and Han Solo and Leia were like in the room just chilling.
They're like, well done, good job, you got this.
You got this, Rand. We believe in you.
He lets them know that there's gonna be that he's gonna stop the gateways. They're gonna have to make them outside if they need to escape. Nice. That's very nice of him
because we've talked about how it takes like hours to walk down the tunnel, and like getting down the tunnel takes forever.
Gao was like, you were gone 2 hours.
Yeah.
And Perrin is like, oh yeah, no, that's weird. And
so even if Demandred wants to fight Rand, at this point he has to travel for hours to get there.
Yeah.
Unless someone turns off the dream spike, which I feel like is gonna happen.
Yeah. I honestly feel like Morden is just there to delay Rand, because the longer they can toy with Rand, the more like of the allies they can kill outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Wobbly, timey-wimey. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and so if Slayer wants to go after Rand, he's going to have to run down that long hallway. Mm-hmm. He runs a lonely road.
And then he decides to check up on what the fuck Grandal was doing.
Yeah, he's like, wolves, protect this.
Protect that. He's hunting Sightblind or whatever.
I'm going back to my portal, which isn't going to open. I have a feeling the portal will not open, and Perrin's going to have to learn how to... Because I feel like Lanfear's last lesson that she's going to teach Perrin before he like kind of trusts her is how to get out of Tel'aran'rhiod.
Right.
I said he was going to get stuck there permanently. I don't think that is true, but I do think he's going to be stuck there until the last battle.
Yeah, I hear you. Which is weird. This feels like the last battle, but yeah.
I know. I feel really weird about the fact that we are technically in the last battle, but also we're not.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yep.
Because this book is just a lot of battle. It's a lot of it.
Yes.
And I'm enjoying it in the moment, and then sometimes I put the book down and I'm like, I'm tired.
You're like, oh god, yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
All right, chapter 26, the best chapter in the fucking book. Let's go.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Egwene and Tuon meet up, and
Egwene is a fucking G.
Egwene is like, fuck you.
Tuon's like,
Matt's there.
You need me. And Egwene's like, you know what? I do. But also, you take this rod and shove it up your cooter. You fucking piece of shit. Fuck you, Tuon. You are the worst.
Yeah.
Everybody hates you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch your empire burn to I'm gonna live hundreds of years. I'm gonna kill your children. I'm gonna kill your children's children. I'm gonna grind their bones into dust and make a fucking smoothie. My life is going to be dedicated to making sure everything you've built is destroyed. No one's gonna remember the word Sanchin. And I was like, yes, Egwene. Yes, queen.
I was ahead of you at this point. I was like, you're gonna like Egwene in this.
Oh, I loved it so much.
Oh, it was fucking amazing. Like, Egwene, first of all, Tuon being like, I decided to use my own voice. I was like, yeah, you decided not to sit so you'd both be equals. It'd be fucking stupid of you to undermine that agreement. Like, yeah, anyways.
The one thing I could have used here, stop describing Tuon like she's a kid so much. It makes her and Matt's relationship very weird to me.
Yeah, you've mentioned it, that it doesn't need to be said. Again, we get it. She's short. Like, I get it. But yeah, Egwene is like, interesting. So did you know that I was a domain?
Yeah.
Chew on that, motherfucker.
And I hated it. But it's not that she was a domain. It was that Tuon is saying if you experience a color, you would know the bliss of it.
You understand. It's great. It's such good times.
And Egwene is like,
you're
ill-informed. Oh, how sad for you.
That's funny. funny you should say that.
The Empress who knows everything doesn't know everything.
Yeah, because I tried it, actually. It wasn't for me, actually. It kind of fucking sucked.
And I loved finally, because it should have been Rand. It really should have been Rand who did this. But I loved someone going, hey, you're wrong.
Yeah.
In front of a group of people. And, like, questioning her and being able to walk away from it.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, Tuon, like, her relationship with Egwene is, like, different because she an escape domain has a different status than a Marith domain or whatever the fuck this is. I was like, guys, this is too much. Too much. No wonder Sanshin is back home fucking burning to fucking pieces because y'all are too complicated to actually, like, make shit happen. Yeah. It was great. Yes. They come to an agreement, right? They're like, okay, well, Tremalking, not yours. And Tuon's like, that's not any of your concern. And she's like, I'm making it my fucking problem. You leave Tremalking alone. And
but, like, okay, I do have a question about that.
Tremalking doesn't mean anything to me.
Didn't everyone who lives on Tremalking kill themselves?
The one faction of people all killed themselves, but the
I thought the
Amayar
were the people who lived on land, and the sea folk were the ones who lived on the boats.
Well, I mean, they're still all from there, right? And
I was just kind of like, they were like fighting over Tremalking here, and I think you might be right, and I'm wrong, but I was under the impression that everyone in Tremalking had killed themselves. And so they were like fighting over this, and I was like, oh, do you guys not know that those people are all dead?
It seems like the sea folk and the people who killed themselves had like a relationship where the sea folk lived on the sea and then they lived on the land and they kind of like, had bargains and whatever. So the people who only lived on land and didn't go on the ships are all dead. But like Tremalking is still where the sea folk are from. Like that is their country.
Okay.
Right, so they're from that area, and so Egwene says you can't have the sea folk. Because, the other people are dead, and it doesn't matter, like, they're very sad. But, Egwene is like, no, I'm making it my fucking problem to protect the sea folk, because Rand probably forgot. Because everyone forgot about the fucking sea folk.
But they're fighting the Dark One with the bowl of winds. They're going.
They're doing something. Tuon is like, okay, well, you have to let in our fucking preachers to preach to the benefits of being a slave. And Egwene is like, sure. Go for it. You go for that.
No. And this I disagree with Egwene on. People will take her up on that.
Well, yeah, but what's she going to do at that point, right? Like, she's got to protect the sea folk, and so she's like, all right, fine. You can, if people want to come to you willingly, I can't stop that. That's not my job, right? Like,
until the, like, wrong nobleman's son goes, and then there's war.
Like, look, I'm saying that there definitely will be problems with it, but I understand the agreement of it, right? And I understand Egwene laughing at it.
I understand. It's the problem I have with all of the agreements is that, like, they all lead to war. All of the agreements are set up to lead to war. Rand promising 5 generations of women will stay in slavery will lead to war.
Which is why there has to be one single outcome that is the actual win condition. Like, this, to me, just sets up all the different building blocks that can fall apart if this doesn't go perfectly, right? This is the one time it has to go perfectly. Otherwise, people get fucked. Nobody wins if Rand doesn't do exactly what he's supposed to do the perfect way he's supposed to do it, right? Which is the wheel and the different worlds and the multiverse and shit like that. But Tuon's like, well, we're going to tell people how great it is to be a slave. And Egwene is like, yeah, fucking go for it. I was a slave and it sucked. And Tuon is like, what?
No, this seems great. Egwene calling Tuon out is so necessary.
And he's like, oh, if you think it's great, put on a collar. Put on a collar, because you can channel. It's going to work on you. And if you're so sure that it won't, put on the collar.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? If I'm right, well, then you should have a collar on. And if I'm wrong, then it doesn't matter. So,
And this is where we see Tuon be the, like, biggest fucking hypocrite in the world. Because she's like, well, maybe there's a difference between being able to channel and being able to learn to channel, so it doesn't matter. And I was like, oh, you are...
That's the crack.
The worst.
Yep. That's what she has to tell. She has to patch it up somehow. And that's the crack that's going to just split the Sanshin Empire. I'm ready for it, and I'm ready for Egwene to fucking get in there and just poke that crack. Because that's what she did in the White Tower, right? She, like, splintered it apart so that it could be brought back together strong and whole again. So she's gonna fucking ruin the Sanshin.
Look, if the book gets into that, I'm gonna love it. You know that, right? My concern right now is that I just don't think the book gets into it past this point.
We'll see. Yeah.
I want it to. Because that would... The ending of this book with the Sanshin and how this book ends the Sanshin storyline, maybe not ends the Sanshin as a people, but ends the storyline of the Sanshin, will go a long way to informing my opinion of the whole series.
Yeah.
Because I think that in many ways that plotline has been the worst handled. And what it has done to Matt as a character has been the worst handled, right? I think that in many ways the Sanshin are the anchor dragging what I think otherwise is a pretty fantastic series down in a big bad way. And how that plotline ends in this book is going to be a big part of how I feel about the series as a whole.
Yeah.
Because I still love the first 6 books a lot.
Yeah.
I still think the first 6 books are some of my favorite fantasy I've ever read.
Yeah.
Everything after that is all over the place for me in terms of loving stuff, hating stuff. It is a mixed bag. Gathering Storm is like a very bright light in that mixed bag. But how the Sanshin plotline ends to me is so much a part of how I feel about the whole book. Yep. Because even in this scene, Matt is already kind of softening towards Tuon in a way that I don't love.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, he's been soft towards her the whole time, except when he's hard.
Yeah, but this Egwene, I feel like opens up an opportunity for Matt here that he doesn't take with Tuon, and he kind of softens Egwene towards Tuon and not the other way around. And I don't know. I wish Matt had done more here.
Yeah.
And I felt like this was Matt's opportunity to do a little bit more, and he doesn't take that opportunity. I'm hopeful in the future he does. I'm hopeful Matt does something around this and is inspired by Egwene to make the Sanshin a better people and a better... You know what I mean? But here, you know, he there's a weird thing in both Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson's writing of the Sanshin where they try and be like... They play the game of like, the Sanshin are bad, but they do rule well. And like, and Min goes through like the camp and is like, oh, they're very organized. Like they really know how to be organized. And it's like, yes, because they have slaves.
Well,
and
yeah.
These books don't get into enough because even Egwene here...
I thought that was apparent.
But even Egwene here doesn't look at the Duck Oval the way that she looks at the Domain.
Right.
And
they're like, oh, wow, these whores in sheer clothing. It's like, well, they're the same. Like, they don't have a choice.
Yes. The slavery isn't the issue for Egwene. It is that it is women channelers who are collared. And so they're literally putting this like weird hierarchy on and Rand doesn't bring up the Duck Oval either, only the Domain. Yeah. And like there is a weird element of all of these people who are looking at the Sanshin and commenting on the problems of the Sanshin, ignoring the Duck Oval part of that problem. And it goes deeper with Matt, where Matt is sexualizing that Duck Oval girl in that last week. Yeah. And so I'm hopeful that these books don't like, in talking about the Domain, forget that like there is also a sexual slavery going on in this country that is awful. Yeah, for sure. CJB, thank you for that super chat. Egwene pretty much gives the Sanshin an exchange program like the Aiel and Sea Folk. It'll work to change them in the long run. I hope so. I really do. I think that Egwene had the success that she had in the White Tower. I think that honestly, Egwene is the person here to be interacting with Tuon, and I hope that it leads to some changes. Yeah, fuck the Sanshin. Malindio says that's what people say about the British Empire.
The British are the villains. They are the villains.
I would, if we read a series that tried to portray the British Empire as necessary evil in the world, I would sit here and rail against it far longer than I ever have about the Sanshin. You do not want to get me started on what I think of the British Empire and what they did in the world, what they did in India, what they did in the country that I live in Canada.
My people, they suck.
Don't for 1 second think that I don't see the issues with the Sanshin in the British Empire, because the British Empire is the fucking worst. I'm not going to defend the Brits. I'm not going to defend the royal family of Britain.
They're kind of indefensible.
I don't want anyone watching this for 1 second to think that I think that this is a fantasy issue. This is a real world issue that let's not get into it too much.
I hear you.
Let's not fucking pretend that I am a supporter of the British Empire. I fucking hate them.
Yep.
Sorry, just when you're like, that's what people say about the British Empire. That's what I say about the British Empire. That's my opinion.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah. We still have a lot of problems to solve. But like, I don't want to get too political, but like, hey, Canada, there are still native communities that live under boil water advisory. So maybe let's fix that. Trudeau, you remember that thing you promised that you would fix that 6 years ago and you haven't? Maybe you should at least fix that. It would be a very, very small place to start, but it would be great if there were Indigenous children that didn't have to boil their water to drink it.
That'd be cool. Yeah, thanks for that.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. We get over to Elaine's POV. And it's been a long day of fighting, and they're all exhausted. But it looks like they're surrounding the Trollocs, and that their plan is working. Yep. They're like, oh, wow, things going good. Okay, yes, let's fucking go. And then the other Trolloc army shows up. Even though Bashir was like, oh, yeah, no, tomorrow at the earliest. Surprise, motherfucker. Dad from Bashir probably has his dreams fucked with as well. If he's a dark friend, yeah. I wouldn't like that. I think that would be very counter to his character. But the fact that he kind of like stands his ground so hard makes me think that like he's literally just being fucked around by Graendal. Yeah. Because Graendal is the master of compulsion. We know that about her, and she's fucking around in the dream world. And so I think that this is her influence and not that he is a dark friend.
Oh, I think that everything that Bashir says. Okay, so basically like they get fucked. Because Bashir has not been sending out scouts. And so they go and confront Bashir about not sending out scouts. And Bashir says, no, I did send out the scouts. I think Bashir is being 100% honest.
Yeah, I agree.
He believes that he sent out those scouts. Mm-hmm. Because this is why the Graendal thing is so competent, is you don't even let them know that there's an issue.
Yep.
Because if you had Bashir going... not thinking about the scouts, like it would be obvious what's going on.
Yep.
But instead, he thinks that he did.
Yep.
And so there's no problem. He has scouting reports. They don't exist, but he remembers reading them.
Yep.
It is so fucking cool.
It's so great.
It's so cool.
Love it.
And like it makes Graendal so rad. She's the best Forsaken now. I'm so glad she's in the series. I mean, I hate her. Like obviously I hate her, but I like competent villains. I like when the bad guys are scary. I like when they kill good guys. You know what I mean? Like I want that so that the victories feel like there's the fist pump of victory, right? Yeah. I really think that this book needs more of it, but it is finally happening. The bad guys have a really good plan and it's working, and I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm really into it.
There's some good shit. We love to see it. Mm-hmm. So they kind of arrest Bashir as a dark friend because obviously Elaine doesn't understand what's going on, and they get ready to fight.
Yeah. They do win the first fight, and it's great. They can't use the cannons to do it, so they take some heavy losses, but they win the first fight. This is where I would have pulled back into Cairhien personally. I would have used the walls, and I don't really understand why they don't. Why they didn't plan to use the walls the whole time.
Of Cairhien, they literally say that like if they go inside and they give the Trollocs time to rest and recuperate, that there's no way that they can win because they don't have the number or the firepower.
But that's not how like. They also their channelers get to rest and recuperate. The one thing about this plan that I never understood is because I would have pulled into Cairhien immediately. It is a heavily fortified city that we have seen is really hard to take even with channelers,
well,
right?
It kind of got like busted up. Is it even back on its feet?
No, the walls were never broken through.
No, I thought
even when Couladin attacked with the Wise One channelers, the walls never fell. The door, the one gate did. Oh. But they only got through one doorway and they barely got through. If you're fighting and all of your kinswomen need time to recuperate so that you have channelers again, give them time to recuperate?
The book told me that if they go inside the walls, it's a bad idea, and so I believed it.
But Bashir says that when he's under the influence.
No, but they say it again here.
No, here it's too late because they've interacted with the army from the north, and so they would. The reason why it's a bad idea now is they would, in disengaging from that army, they would take too many losses to get inside.
Yeah.
So they're stuck at this point. Mm-hmm. But I do wonder if not going in the first time was a failure because Bashir's mind was being influenced.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Because
they can't be sieged, right? Because of the gateways that they can make, they can't be sieged. And so allowing a siege to take place of a city that is as fortified as Kyrian, I feel like would have been the better way for them to go, personally.
I mean, the problem is, like,
because you can just pound people with those dragons.
Yeah, but the Trollocs also have, like, dreadlords and stuff, so people can get in through gateways. Like, I don't know if it actually helps that much. I'm not sure.
Tough.
I'm not
That's
sure.
tough.
I don't know. Which is why they were like, oh, it's a bad idea, and I was like, okay, sure, if you say so. Like.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that, like, I wonder if it is Bashir. I'm only bringing it up because I wonder if it was Bashir being controlled by Graendal to not go in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Y'all, thank you so much.
Guillermo Barros, think of that.
Thank you
Evil Army has all their channelers now that can blow up walls. Also, they would be sieged, and with traveling, it was even worse. Every army is avoiding fighting within walls. Right, but you still have walls. As opposed to fighting in a field against an enemy that has you outnumbered and outsized, and that you still have to deal with the channelers on the field. There's not really a benefit to that.
Well, yeah, I'm like, is there a benefit to going in the city? Maybe. Is there a detriment to going in the city? Maybe. Like, I'm not actually sure. I just was like, oh yeah, the book said it was a bad idea, and these people know better than I do.
And they can't be sieged. There is no siege in this world anymore. Like, sieging doesn't exist because sieging isn't about anything other than cutting off resources.
Out, yeah.
But they don't need that. They
because they can travel.
Right.
Joji, thank you for that super chat. Competent villains are vital. Empire Strikes Back. Yes.
1,000%.
We love to see it.
It's why everyone talks about Empire Strikes Back as being the greatest sequel of all time, because it made the villains insanely scary.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
They won every fight in that movie.
Yep.
And it's great.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. We get to the next chapter, which is 27?
I believe so. Friendly Fire.
Hell yeah, we get some Gareth.
Why is this called Friendly Fire?
I don't know.
I actually don't know why this chapter is called Friendly Fire.
Is it because they're rockin' kills Anna?
Yeah, but that's not like an attack.
No, I don't know.
Weird. Yeah, so Gareth is talking to Holcomb about the status of the Aes Sedai defenses, and things are falling apart on the left side. It's like, oh no. Joni Chagrin, another named character, has fallen, but Uno
is there.
Uno's leading now, guys. Uno's back. He's in charge.
One of the most competent cavalry fighters the world has ever seen, I guess. So that's cool.
He's a horsey boy.
We love Uno.
Some people have horse girls, but the Wheel of Time has horse boys.
Horse boys.
And so Bryn is like, Anna, go tell Fortuana that we need the cavalry. And Anna's like, got it. And then a rockin' fucking squishes her.
And so Min goes instead.
It gets knocked out of the sky by the bad guys. It isn't Friendly Fire.
Yeah,
but I guess it is. I don't know.
I
didn't read this chapter title until now, and I'm just kind of like, I didn't really get a lot of Friendly Fire out of this. And Min is like, I can go. I can run fast. And so Min
goes to the Sachin.
Yeah, and like I want to call it out again because it's really brilliant. She has to crawl through a hole because they're saving energy.
Yeah.
Those little details, fucking incredible. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Min goes there and is like, hey, I'm here. I'm a messenger. And they're like, they were supposed to clear all the messengers before they came to our camp. And I was like, dude, it's a fucking war. What? The
Sanchin are too organized, is the moral of the story here. Because Katrana's like, hey, was there a rocket that fell from the sky? And they were like, oh, yeah, I'm surprised you heard about that. And she's like, okay, well, I guess you told the truth.
And Min's like, did you think I was lying? And she's like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I thought you were lying. I'm like, okay, at least you're honest.
But like, I just, the Sanchin are exhausting.
Oh yeah, I fucking hate them.
And the rest of this chapter, kind of exhausting.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited for Min versus Tuan. Because like, we know that there's like people who can talk to the Empress in a certain way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling that like a doom speaker or whatever the fuck this is, a doom seer.
No, she is now like, the truth speaker because she is a doom seer.
Yeah, but that means she can say whatever the fuck she wants to Tuan, and that's going to be really fun. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I hope. I hope it's fun.
Because Tuon has to listen to her. The reason, look, the Sanchin are exhausting and their rules are like dumb, but this rule is going to work in the good guy's favor because Min has this position now of power and influence that Tuon has to listen to, and the people in court have to listen to. And she can just do whatever. She's like, oh, these omens, take it or leave it.
I just wish that they had chosen to write it that this is put in front of Min. And she chooses to stay. That she sees the value in the moment and like.
But how would she know?
Have the part of it where Matt explains what it means.
But Matt wouldn't know either. There hasn't been one for 300 years.
No. But the truth speaker part.
Why would Min think that she could be a truth speaker?
Because she's announced to be her new truth speaker.
Yeah, because she can see shit. Like that, like, Matt has no reason to tell Min about truth speakers.
I would have liked for Min to have a little bit more agency in this moment.
I agree. I just don't think there's any way to do that without it being, like, contrived. Because there'd be no reason for Matt to know that Tuon really needs a truth speaker and doesn't want Selucia to be both, and then bring up truth speaker to Min in this situation. Like, there's just I don't think there's any possible way. I agree, be nice if Min had a choice and was like, I can do some good here, but she does end up kind of having choice because Matt is like, yeah, you could leave or you could stay, and Rand would probably want you to be here and be like helping out in this way, because yeah, you're right, Min kind of useless doing clerk stuff and is like, I guess I'm helping in any way that I possibly can. And then she decides to stay.
I think this could have been a little bit stronger from her point of view, and we could have gotten the vibe that Min was like, I'm going to do this intentionally.
Yeah.
And it would have, I think it would have saved the moment in a way that I think that, like, this makes Matt look really weak again, unfortunately. Why? Because he just is like, he doesn't stand up for Min in this moment in a way that I think that earlier book Matt would have. And I think that it is the, like...
Stand up for her how?
Stand up to Tuon and be like, no, you can't just kidnap people. I think that Matt looked really weak here personally, and you don't, and that's fine. We just have different type of opinions on it.
Yeah, I just thought that Matt saw the value of Min being
I understand your point of view. I disagree with it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that this made Matt look weak again. I think that it was just fuel on the fire of Tuon being a piece of shit that I don't need at this point. Like, I'm already there. Min just being kidnapped into this plot line is fine. I just don't... this was like, okay, yeah, we're doing this again.
I loved it. I'm so excited for Min to, like, to influence here, especially with all, like, the knowledge she's gained from her readings, from Harrod Fell, and the, like, philosophical side of Min. I'm so fucking excited for the scenes with Min and Tuon.
You love it for what you've created in your head. Yeah. And not for what happened.
Yeah.
Right. And so I really hope that I love those scenes if I get them.
Yeah,
this. But I'm not. I'm
the potential for like so much cool shit.
I am not willing to hand over that anticipation to the books anymore, because a lot of those things that I've wanted have not been there in the past. Right. Like these books haven't earned me anticipating that they're going to handle those things well, because they've mishandled the Sanchin, particularly around Matt, so poorly that I'm not anticipating that it goes well. And I think that is my problem, right? I think that that's because I'm at a point where I'm like, fuck. Every time characters go to the Sanchin, I feel like they become worse characters in my eyes. And now Min has gotten dragged into the black hole that is this plot, these people.
Yeah.
Matt went there. I fucking hate everything that has happened since Matt married Tuon as a character for him.
Well, except when he was away from her at the tower, you know
right,
what I mean?
Yeah,
like...
when he gets away from her.
Yeah.
Everyone who gets dragged into the orbit of the Sanchin gets worse the closer they get to Tuon.
Yeah.
And so Min getting dragged into Tuon's orbit makes me like very nervous. Mm-hmm. And it makes you excited because you're like, she's going to fucking shatter this. She's going to do all these things. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, not another character that I love getting wrecked by this.
I just think it was like heavily foreshadowed because of the lines like, I have opinions on the Sanchin from Min and stuff like that. So
I hope so. I sincerely hope that you are right. Mm-hmm. I really do. Mm-hmm. I would fucking love for you to be right. Mm-hmm. I'm just nervous. And this, like, her getting dragged away and, like, dressed in different clothing did not make me feel like I was, like, better about the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. The viewing is interesting, though, in that Tuon is going to kill a raven, but it's not Matt.
I mean, kill also, like, that's like a question mark. It's one of those weird things where it's like a viewing, so the stabbing could also be metaphorical. I don't know. Don't know what that means.
Gregory Love says,
There's...
I said books ago that I hope Min stays away from the Sanchin because they ruin everyone.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Wait, there's another person that has the raven symbol, right? No. Never mind. I was like, there's somebody else that has a connection to ravens, but I can't remember it, so I think I'm just making that up in my head.
Yeah, she also sees that Galligan is going to try and kill Matt, so that's fun.
Yeah.
He's going to do it poorly, I think. It's going to be like...
to kind of like...
a bad...
Yeah. It's going to be like a half-assed attempt to test him? I don't fucking know.
Hasty Alderman says, quoth the raven, nevermore. So, if you're playing Baldur's Gate, summon a familiar raven and see what the raven's name is.
Oh, is it, Sandman?
No, it's quoth.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
Quoth the raven.
Sure.
From the raven?
From what?
From the raven. You've never read it?
Oh, I was like, is that a movie? I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
All
no.
right.
No, but yeah, the raven familiar is called Quoth, which is the funniest joke. If you've read it, but apparently you haven't. So
no.
Cool.
Is it fantasy?
No, it's
then
like...
I would never have picked it up. I basically only read fantasy and a bit of sci-fi. Anything that's too close to real life is boring.
It's not close to real life.
Okay.
Cries in Marylanders.
Sorry, I don't. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh. If there wasn't magic and dragons in that shit, I never picked it up. I intentionally.
You've never read any Edgar Allan Poe?
No.
Wow. Okay.
No. Oh, it's a poem. Oh.
Yeah.
I read Shel Silverstein. Yeah. That's the poetry that I read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
One sister for sale. That's my poetry.
Matt sends Ty Lee and her First Legion, the one Sanchin person I don't hate, into combat. So Ty Lee, go do it.
Ty Lee's all right, I guess. Oh God. Too many men.
Nerdy read a parody version of the poem on this very podcast. I did. That is funny.
Oh, I guess I didn't get the reference then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I can't believe I never read any Edgar Allan Poe in like college or in like high school.
In high school, I read Lord of the Flies 3 times because, well, actually, sorry, twice in high school, and then once I had to do it in college for the show because I did the all-female version of the show. And then I read...
A Memory of Light, Chapter 28, Too Many Men.
All right, fine, I'll go pee.
Are you peeing?
Sure.
Proud of you. Your education has failed you, yeah. All right, y'all. We're in the final chapter of reading for the week. Let's go. It's not going to be a 4-hour show this week. Was I more positive, chat? Are we happy with me again? Is everyone mad at me again? I don't know. I feel like everyone's just mad at me all the time. Did I bring it back this week? You never read Dr. Seuss? No, never heard of him. Dedsy says, but she's heard of him. Have you heard of Edgar Allan Poe? Okay, yeah, she says yes. Arazu's not mad at me, so everything's fine. Urukino says they are enjoying it this week. Thank you. All right, this is the final chapter. There's 3 points of view. All of them are pretty good. All of them are pretty good. I feel like I'm just trying to kill time till Claroos gets back. It's been a good book club. Rastang, thank you so much. Bazimian says, how can we be mad? We're used to the flow of the show by now. Zalabreth says they didn't stop watching this week. Guys, I'm working on it. I want the show to be better because as we leave the Wheel of Time soon, I want people to like the show and not just be here for the Wheel of Time. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I have a little bit of anxiety about what this show is going to be after the Wheel of Time is done. Especially with the strike and not being able to talk about the TV program. Like, it's going to be weird. You know, we're gonna have different names in chat. I feel like I've gotten used to yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be weird. I'm feeling I have a lot of emotion around this series being done for us, and that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Lan's point of view. Are you mad at me?
Why?
Because I cut you off while you were listing the books you've read.
No, I just
needed to pee.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
can be mad at me.
It's fine.
You're allowed to be mad at me.
I just, I thought that like tangents were part of the show.
No, we are on the rails, babe. It's okay. We're gonna end in under 3 hours. We're on the rails today.
We're not. Okay, sure. Guys, less than 3 hour book club.
Rustung, thank you for that super chat. I came for Wheel of Time, but I've been staying for other reactions. Looking forward to the next book series.
Thank you for that.
I'm looking forward to rereading Eragon. That's gonna be fun.
I'm so freaking excited.
We have a big surprise.
Shut up.
For that, and I cannot wait. I also can't wait. Guys, the best book club is going to be when you open your birthday present. I know it's your birthday. Happy birthday. We didn't sing happy birthday. Before we do chapter 28, chat, everyone type out the lyrics of happy birthday one line at a time in chat as I sing. Try and keep up with me. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Claroos.
This is fucking chaotic.
Happy birthday to you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And many more.
Thank you, chat. Chat, that was really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Are we off the rails enough for you now?
Yes, I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, chat. Thank you for indulging me as I sing happy birthday to my wife.
That was beautiful.
As she turns 18, finally.
Why you gotta make it weird?
Because you turn 18 every year. You never age.
No,
You're
that's
an immortal
not
lily.
True. I don't want to be 18 forever. That sounds heinous.
All right, you're 25.
No, let me at least get to 30. Everyone says 30s are when you have the most fun.
But you're not 30.
I know, that's why. Let me get to 30, please. Guys, I put in the effort. I put in the effort to get to 30. I'm almost there. I only got 1 year left.
James
please.
Ross, thank you for that super chat.
Let me get to 30, please. James Ross, thank you.
Happy birthday. Let her rent a car. You're 25, so you can rent a car.
Yeah, let me drink legally in the States.
Heisenberg says, at Nerdy, are you guys rereading all of Eragon or just the new Murtagh book? I'm confused. We're going to reread the entire series before Murtagh comes out in November. Yeah,
it's going to be like a lead up. I probably won't be as divided into as many sections as like Wheel of Time is.
I don't know that it'll be divided at all. I think we're going to do a book a week, which is going to be tough.
That is so much reading.
I know.
I thought we'd split them into 2.
We don't have enough weeks.
Oh. You know what would be fun? If for Eldest, we did 2 weeks, and 1 week was the Eragon stuff, and 1 week was the Rorin stuff, and we read them separately,
You do know that we have 4
Shut up.
weeks.
Let me have this. Right. Arazu, thank you so much for the 5 gifted
memberships. Thank you, Arazu.
Thank
Father
you so
Jerusalem.
much.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Claroos, and stuff.
Appreciate it.
Lan learns that Agomar has made a mistake. And he goes, and he's like, yo, Kazel, what would you do if you wanted to fuck up an army? And Kazel's like, I would move these archers. And then Baldir is like, there's something wrong with Agomar. And so he's like, yo, messenger, what did Agomar say? And he said, we're going to move those archers. And Lan is like, God damn it.
Fuck.
Don't do that, motherfucker. Here's what you're going to do.
Delay that order.
Belay that order.
Yeah.
And he sends a couple of his Malcurie High Guard, because he has a Queen's Guard now.
Yeah, why not?
But it's 50 people. Yeah. To make sure that the messenger does what he says. He's like, I don't fucking trust that kid.
Yeah, you never know.
And so he's like, well, if the shadow spawn sneak up on us, we'll know that Agomar is a dark friend. Or magic.
Or magic.
How did you think, what did you think of how Lan handled the situation?
I loved it.
A lot of maturity here.
Yeah, it was great. He wasn't mad about it. It's just one of those things where he had to deal with it. He had to get shit done, and he sussed out what was going on in a way that wasn't like Baldir, whatever his name was like, I don't know, I'm kind of worried about him. And Lan was like, okay, well, maybe a bit premature. And then he realizes that, like, you just keep track of those things.
Yeah.
And then you you put all the puzzle pieces together and something sus is going on. It was great.
This week did a lot for me with Lan. Obviously, I wish I wanted that scene with Nynaeve, and I'm very disappointed we didn't get it. But the Lan stuff that we did get is all great. Mm-hmm. And I think that it just really speaks to what kind of a king he's going to be in the Malkir that he builds after he retakes the Blight, right? Mm-hmm. It really just he has patience in his leadership in a way that I think really sets him apart from a lot of the other characters. And this POV did a really good job of showing that, and of just showing how much he's embraced this thing he did not want. Right? And like Lan's arc, look, did I complain a lot about how he got here? Yeah, I did. Him leaving, I didn't like it, but the way where it got him to, I'm so on board with that. Like, whatever, I don't care. I'm really, really, really happy with it right now.
Yeah, I will agree with that. The getting there, maybe not my favorite reasoning and stuff, but us being here, I've enjoyed a lot of Lan stuff, and he's back up there with like the S tier people.
Light Blinded Fool!
Thank you so
Thank you
much
for that super chat. Happy birthday, Claroos. The money's for Nerdy to spend on you.
Thank you. Can
I buy you things at con?
Like what?
Misty Mountain Gaming Dice.
Oh my god.
Use code nerdynightly15 to get 15% off your order at mistymountaingaming.com. Get yourself some dice and some other D&D accoutrement. Or Pathfinder, or The Expanse TTRPG by Green Ronin Publishing, who were friends of the show. Who else? Blades in the Dark. Forged in the Dark. Great systems. What are some other good systems?
I don't know. I won't even play.
I know.
Oh, apparently there's like the Witches Brown Brooms something or other that's fun.
Kids on Brooms.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
thank you. Appreciate that. We have so many dice though. I don't know if I can't believe I'm saying this, but like I feel like satiated. I don't know if I need more dice this week.
Okay, that's one of us. You have booth time where I can do whatever I want and you'll never know.
God damn it. That's true.
I can put it on the Tangerine card and you'll never know.
Sure.
We cut over to Loyal, who sings the song.
And that's it. Good job, Loyal. You did it.
I don't know what felt more Deus Ex Machina-y this week. Literally God talking to Rand to be like, it is time. Or Loyal being like,
it is time.
I'm singing a sad song. You know what? I'm being rude to these men by mourning them. I'm going to look to the future. And then he just sings the song. And he's like, oh, I can make plants grow.
I mean, here's the thing. Did the Ogier always know the song? Like, is it just the Tuatha that are searching for it?
No, because I feel like they would have, if they did know the song, they would have told the Tuatha the song.
Yeah, it's kind of rude for them to keep it
secret. And so, like, he just, like, randomly comes up with the song in the moment. It's genetic memory. Yeah. His like ancestors, Matt. It's literally, like it is the Lion King. They live in you. Hey, They live in me.
Brian, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Look, I'm not saying there's such thing as too many dice. I'm just saying, like, my, like, inner dice goblin is satiated for about another week or so. We'll see after that, though.
Wait, but no, there's a difference between tree singing and the song, though.
I don't actually think there is.
I think there is, because the song is about growing plants for food.
I think the Ogier have just been, like, making the Tuatha and
No, Rantan Moore says tree singing isn't the song. I think they are separate songs.
I thought that it was the same.
Yeah.
Huh.
The song from the Ruidian flashback and tree singing aren't the same thing. Tree singing is about, like, getting a tree to give you a specific thing out of it. And the song is about, like, growing fields and crops.
So this is the song and not tree singing?
Yes. I think so. I think that's the implication of what this moment is.
I have no idea.
Because it's a song he's never sung before. So it can't be something, it's not his tree singing. Because in the text, it is a song he's never sung before, but is a song of growing. Which is the song from the Ruidian flashback with Rand. But the whole point of this is that he suddenly sings a song that he's never sung before.
And the plants grow. Sure, yeah, okay. I don't know. Very confusing to me.
There is no song. No, there is a song. Rand experiences it in his Ruidian flashback.
Yeah.
The song is the song. That exists. Because in the Ruidian flashback, Rand is like watching the fields and they sing the song and it makes the plants grow.
Yeah.
but they've forgotten that song. The only person who remembered that song was the Green Man, but he was in fucking Eye of the World and none of the Ogier met him. The Ogier have been tree singing, but they haven't been singing the song, or else Loyal would have sung this song before, but he's never sung the song before. He, like, comes up with the song in the moment, because it's, like, blessed to him somehow.
Loyal learns the song.
He doesn't learn it. He is inspired to it
yes.
by his realization about mankind.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think the song sounds like? If it had been forgotten, Joe.
No, it wouldn't be something like that. What would the actual song be? You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
Oh my god.
You raise me up.
That actually makes sense.
There are people in chat saying the song for the Tinkers is not real. Like Simon Roberts says that. No, it is, because the Tinkers are the Genaiel from the Age of Legends who Rand saw singing the song, which was their whole thing.
I thought Rand made that connection. It's like, oh wow, they used to know the song. That's so sad. Book
4 put this all together, guys. It's all there in the Wordian flashback.
I thought so, yeah.
The Wind Beneath My Wings, that's a good one. It's clearly Hakuna Matata.
It's actually,
Amazing Grace. I could see being Amazing Grace.
It's actually near, far, wherever.
I love that but it's the wheel, but it's the Come From Away version.
The Come From Away version. Yes, thank you. Yeah, no, it's great. Nothing to do, nothing to see.
Okay, you're just slamming shit. The song is Blank Space by Taylor Swift. Thank you for that super chat, Father Jerusalem, clearly.
God damn it.
No, if it's gonna be a Taylor Swift song, it's gonna be he wears shorts and I wear sneakers. He's cheer captain and I am on the bleachers.
It's mean, actually. You with your words like knives and swords and weapons that you use against me.
I would love it. All the music in the Wheel of Time is just
Taylor
Swift. It's the only music that survives the breaking. And Moradin is just like, or Lanfear's in Tel'aran'rhiod, like watching Perrin from a distance, being like, we are never getting back together. And she's thinking about Rand, and she's like, I'm gonna fuck Perrin now. Anyway.
So who sings Teardrops on My Guitar? Is that Avienda?
What?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the Grease song.
The Grease song?
Yeah.
Oh,
Taylor Swift is canonically Asmodean.
Asmodean. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
But yeah, so Loyal is protecting the cannons with the Trollocs, or with the Ogier fighting the Trollocs, and it's this scene, very cool.
Great.
Hey, Brandon Sanderson, this scene was fucking great.
Very cool.
I immediately didn't love him just like coming up with the song, and then I thought about it for a second, and I was like, no, I'm into it.
I'm here for it.
It took me a second to get into it, and then I was like, yeah, I'm into it. Mm-hmm. I kind of like the idea of like genetic memory in the Ogier.
Yeah, especially like they're different than humans, and I think that's cool.
And so we end with Matt, and Matt is looking at the maps and is like, there's no way these people can fucking draw maps worth shit. Guys, I'm going to the battlefield. And everyone's like, what? And he rips his clothes off.
He gets naked.
And Min's like, you know what? I want to do that. And he's like, $100. Bet.
Right now.
Titties out. And Min's like, fuck you.
That was great, honestly.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He was a good friend of mine. I know what the song is.
What?
Look at this photograph.
No.
Every time I do it makes me laugh.
Why is that?
How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Tuon's head?
Honestly, fair. Fair.
And so he's like, I'm going to the battlefield to see it for myself. And everyone is like, what? How did you get clothes in here? And Matt is like, I can bribe people, but not the Death Watch guards. So
we don't fuck around with them. But everyone else, fair game. And Tuon is like, well, the Prince of Raven said it, so why have you not hustled him there with the greatest haste?
Look, I give Tuon a lot of shit.
Uh-huh.
Because she's the fucking worst. Mm-hmm. But Tuon is like, I'm coming too. And I'm like, you know what?
All right.
I approve of that decision.
Yeah.
Because if she goes to the battlefield, she might get hit by an arrow and die.
Oh my god. Maybe that's going to be the friendly fire.
I said this I finished the read last night. I was like, Claroos, Tuon's going to the battlefield. Maybe someone will kill her. I was so excited.
Would not be mad about that. The only problem is that we know that the next Empress would be less agreeable, and I don't know how you can be less agreeable, but hey.
This is also where Matt kind of, and Min have a moment where Matt is kind of like, it would be beneficial to Rand for you to be the truth speaker here. And Min's like, fine.
Yeah, she's like, I can actually, hopefully, maybe be useful.
I hope you're right and that is what happens.
I'm determined.
I really, if Min is the thing that solves the Sanchin problem in the series, I would love that.
Yeah.
I really would. No joke, no lie, no bullshit. I would really love it if Min solves the Sanchin problem for me.
Yeah. We already know that Min is the greatest, so.
And that is the end of the reading for this week. That's the end of the book club forever. This is where we're stopping. We will never do another Wheel of Time. I'm actually never going to read again. I've decided that I will do text-to-speech for chat from now on, and I will never read another book.
Oh, wow.
This was the last thing.
Seems kind of, I don't know, inconvenient.
Why?
Well, what if you have to, like, get somewhere and you can't read the address?
Tough luck.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
I guess I could listen to it from now on. Wait, I fucked up.
There are audiobooks.
Loopholes.
How will you play Baldur's Gate 3 then? Facts. Simon, facts. Straight
facts. Okay, I'm gonna read.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reading in that game.
Yeah.
And I don't do it. And then Chad is like, you need to read so that you can solve the puzzles and not just brute force it. And I was like, why? I killed the skeletons. It's fine. All right, chat. Claroos and I are gonna do high-low. Claroos, we gotta get to Fan Expo, so we're trying to get out of here by 2. High-low, my childhood dinner table. We would commiserate over each other's lows, celebrate each other's highs. It was a thing. Brought my blended family together because I've got stepsisters, half brothers. My family's a fucking mess. It's train wreck. You can't look away. So Claroos is going to do her high. I do my low. She does her low. I do my high because we compliment sandwich this biche because sometimes I am too mean to these books, according to the comments under the videos. Claroos, what is your high for this week? And don't steal mine because I will murder you.
Oh, I feel like I feel like I kind of gave it away with my passion. But my high of this book was Egwene being like, all right, Tuan, put on the fucking collar, bitch.
Yeah.
Bet. I was like, yes, please, more of this. So that is my high for this section.
I'm with you on that. Fantastic moment.
Yeah.
What is my low, you might ask? It's actually harder than I would have thought, but it is the stuff that didn't happen. It's the stuff that skipped over. Which is nice that it isn't something that I actually read this week. I don't like the Min Sanchin stuff, but whatever. I am at this point complaining about them is just a waste of my time. Just not getting Nynaeve and Lan's goodbye. Just having their last moment be 5 books ago is like, and obviously like after everything they might get a moment together. But it feels very weird to me that these characters who have the ability to move around so easily don't have scenes with the people they love. I find it very odd.
Milo is, funnily enough, also like stuff that's not really there.
I forgot about my actual low.
Oh.
Yeah, Swan surviving because Yukiri knew a fucking thing.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fair.
I read that literally last Friday because I needed to know what happened with the whole Swan stuff. So I forgot about it. But yeah, that's my low. Fuck that bullshit.
My low is that Olivia is missing.
Yes.
Even though she seems to be like super duper important, and her name was mentioned like once. So Milo is also stuff that's also not included. Because I feel like she's necessary. But what's your high? Did I steal it?
No, it's the thing I hyped up so much in the talking. It's the Riddell Terralde POV. Yeah. It really was one of the most exciting pieces of writing I've read in the entire series. I really, because he was frail in it, it had more weight than anything else. It reminded me, honestly, of book 3, the Perrin chapter that is still my favorite chapter in the whole series. Yeah. Having some frailty to some of these people is so valuable. Yeah. To the writing, and they did Rodell so well in that, and they showed a kind of strength that is more valuable than confidence, which is the strength of someone who is persisting, despite what they are struggling with. Yeah. And that to me is one of my favorite things I've read in the whole series. And so it's definitely my high of the week because it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I hear you there. He's a great fucking character. Yeah. Him and Andral are like characters that are introduced much later and have a lot of incredible weight and great moments. I agree with that. Yeah. That's going to be book club for the week, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. We will be back in 2 weeks with chapters, I think it's 29 to 35.
36, I think, because then the following week is 37.
Isn't 36 the last battle?
No, it's 37 is the last battle.
Okay, so yeah, it's till 36, and then the week after that, we're doing 37, 38, and 39.
Yes.
And then the week after that, so 2 weeks from now, we're doing chapter 29 to 36. I'm really excited to continue reading, which I wasn't last week, and so I feel like this section of reading really brought me back into the book. Yeah.
There's a lot of good here.
I think that there was so much that had to get set up in the first half of this book, and I found it clunky personally, and it wasn't my favorite way of setting up the last battle. But now that those things are set up, I do feel like, honestly, I think that if we had read the entire book and then talked about it, I just would not have talked about the first half of the book very much.
You would have fucking motored through it.
Well, and in the discussing it, I've been like, none of that was really all that important.
Exactly, because it's just back and forth and the push and the pull, which is fun to read about and everything, but yeah. It
just, the first half of the book was a little bit clunky, and now that things are kind of, they've been clunked into place, it is getting really interesting, and I'm having a lot of... I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm really excited for where we're going from here, and I hope that some of your optimism comes true, because your optimism sounds like a great book.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
If you want to follow us around the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claroos. Sorry, I got distracted.
If you want to follow us around the internet, that's where it is. If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below, because the algorithm god is hungry. We must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is Elmandrada Fairshaw.
Yeah.
I
love that one of the Aes Sedai is like, Elmandrada, what are you doing here? And she's like, shut the fuck up.
You're too fair to be working. And she's like, it's the last battle. God damn it.
That was very funny.
With that having been said, drop us a 5-star review. We will start reading those when we start getting them. So let us, and if you have dropped one and I haven't read it, let me know. I'll go find it. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Respond to the question on Spotify. Do all of those things. They really help us out. Even if you watch it on YouTube, go to Spotify and just answer whatever the question is. Usually it's, did you like this?
Did you like it?
I would love feedback on the show and what you... we want to change the show up a little bit as we head out of the Wheel of Time. So if you have any ideas for like what kind of segments and stuff you would like from a book podcast that is not just so Wheel of Time focused and is more moving into the larger world of fantasy publishing, let us know. And we might be doing a poll soon for what the next book series will be.
After Aragon.
After Murtagh.
Yes.
We definitely want to cover the new Aragon book. We're very excited for it. So.
Yeah, Bizimian, thank you for that super chat and for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate that.
Claroos. I think that's everything we needed to say. Thank you again to Miss Mountain Gaming for sponsoring the show. If you want the best dice in the business, go to missmountaingaming.com. Use code nerdynightly15 for 15% off your order.
They have a lifetime warranty.
They do have a lifetime warranty. Cool. If you break your stone dice...
That's impressive.
Fucking how?
That's impressive.
You're doing D&D wrong. You're not supposed to use hammers in D&D.
Yeah.
Except in the game.
You're not supposed to throw them at people. You roll them.
Claroos. Add some sex.
Man, everyone's so busy. I obviously think that like Lan and Nynaeve should have had a fucking moment.
They should have fucked.
They should have boned down real hard. Yeah. Same with like... Well, actually, I guess Aviendha and Rand kind of like had that moment.
But Min and Rand didn't. We didn't really get that moment. We got that moment with Aviendha. We got it with Elaine. We didn't get it with Min.
Yeah, she's just kind of been there fucking him this whole time, though. So, like, she's already got it.
It feels like Moraine and Cadsuane and all of them kind of overshadowed our final moments between Min and Rand. And that's disappointing to me. Because we got like a night with Aviendha. We got a night with Elaine. And I wish we'd gotten a night with Min.
Fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. He's just kind of like, you're a liability. Get the fuck out of here. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's really anywhere else. Everyone's like in the middle of fighting. So I feel like it's tough to add sex scenes into this.
Smut Corner. Matt puts his hand on Tuon and Min's boobs and they solve the Sanchin issue by fucking it out. That would be a threesome. Technically.
Technically. Actually, it's going to be so the Dark One is going to be defeated in a threesome between the Creator and the Dark One and Rand. Rand is like the mediator for it, right? Because the Dark One and the Creator unfortunately can't like touch one another, and so Rand is going to touch them for one another, and it's going to be really beautiful.
Sure.
I have good ideas. Okay, I'm still mad that I was wrong about the fucking Aiel stuff.
Yeah,
it's fine. I thought it was a cool idea.
I hope the Red Veil Aiel do something interesting in the rest of the book. I really do. They're fucking each other for sure. There's a lot of bottoming going on among the Red Veil Aiel.
Yeah. They got time to kill, and they kill it by murdering and fucking.
It really is tough to add sex right now because like where do you put it?
Good question. No idea.
In the pussy. Thank you, everybody. That's our show for the week.
Wow. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you to our mods. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
See you in 2 weeks. Oh, everyone, watch the Train to Busan reaction tomorrow, please.
Yeah.
Give that views. It's really good. We cry really hard.
It's a good time.
We cry. I weep. That movie is a masterpiece.
Good movie. Good movie.
Bye, friends.
Bye.